Good evening, everyone, and welcome into the iRacing Today radio show for sort of February the 16th. Well, it's not actually sort of February the 16th. It actually is February the 16th. That is a true and complete statement. However, it is not our normal show recording night, and this is not our normal show. This is the iRacing Today radio show special sim racing rig edition of the show, where we are going to turn the spotlight on you guys as opposed to us. And we're going to show you guys your sim rigs, and you guys sent a ton of them in, so we got a lot to go through today. I'm really excited about actually kind of showing the different ways that you guys race, and it's pretty cool. My name is Trevor Cameron. I am your host, back from the brink of death. Well, not really. I had some surgery, but you can't see my face. You'll see my face on Thursday, but this isn't about us this week, so we don't even have our faces up there. This is about you guys. But still with me, faceless as always, well, I'm assuming that he has a face, but I can't see it, is Mr. Chad Dalton. How you doing tonight, Chad?
Wow. That really took a dramatic turn. I lost a face.
You know, anything can happen. I mean, that's how this works. I mean, it's, we go from, runaway cats that are outside the garage to that poor intern that died that one time. I can't remember his name. He was make-believe, so, I don't feel too bad about that. Things happen here.
That's true. They do.
But we are here to tell these, or to show all these fine people, our other fine listeners, sim racing rigs, and going through the pictures and going through the explanations has been pretty cool, because it's there's a lot of diversity. There's a lot of differences between the way that you guys have everything set up. So it's actually really, really neat to kind of just take a quick glance and see all the different ways that you guys are set up, which is pretty cool. We will have Chad's rig in here. I will put out a disclaimer, pull out the old iRacing Today radio show asterisks and say that you will not see my sim racing rig in this little collage, and that is because I'm in the middle of putting it together in a different way, which I will hopefully done this weekend once my restrictions on being able to move heavy objects has been lifted from my surgery. So I figured, why put in my rig that's kind of half messy and stuff and whatnot when it's just about to all change. Well, not all change, but it's going to look a fair bit different than it does now. So I'll show that off probably on next week's show as a supplemental to this one. So you'll see Chad's, but you won't see mine. But I'll get it to you next week. I promise. Once I get it set up the way that I actually want it to have set up. Plus, there's another addition to it as well, which will be in there by next week, which I'll talk about on this week's actual show on Thursday. Because we got there's a cool little bit of news of something, thanks to a listener, that I'm working on for you guys as well. But with all that being said, and you have our splash, page up here for the first 4 minutes. Are you ready to get started on this, Chad? Is it time for the first rig to be put up on the screen?
No, I think we should just go ahead and close down the show. Oh,
okay. Well, we have the splash screen up there, so I mean.
That looks good enough.
It does. I mean, what else do you need, really? I mean, it's you put a lot of work into it. It looks great. I mean, that's our new splash screen from that you did up, and I really like the fact that it shows the curbing there, and you kind of see the little bit of just a little bit of debris on the side of the curb that's pulled off as the tires go over it. I mean, it's a pretty good screen. I'm just saying. You put a lot of work into it, so we should show it off for a while, because normally they only see it for like 30 seconds. Now they've seen it for like a full 5 minutes. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. But I do think it is now time for the first rig.
Okay, well, let me click a couple of buttons here because I'm in video control. And if we click this button and this button, we'll have our chat up, and we will have the first rig by Mr. Alan Reeves. Why don't you tell us a little bit about this, Chad?
Yeah, so Alan Reeves sent in his rig, and as you can tell right off of the bat, he has one monitor, steering wheel, gear shifter, which is G27. He does say that it is nothing special. Well, it looks pretty special to me. I mean, anybody that has an Obutta, pretty special.
Well, yeah, but that's the thing, the Obutta. I mean, this is not, I have one, Chad has one, Alan has one, several of our other listeners have one. We can all attest. These things ain't cheap.
Yeah.
I am so thankful that I got one because it's awesome.
Yeah.
But it ain't cheap, so it's special enough. Trust me, my bank account says it's special.
And that is the Obata Ozone. So, anyways, like I said, he has G27 wheel and pedals, and of course the gear shifter there, H pattern shifter. You can see kind of to the right of the steering wheel. He says that he has upgraded the brake spring with the GTI for much better fill in his brake. So, actually, I'm kind of curious how that would help out the brake a lot. Because I know that some people have upgraded their G27 brake pedal to try to add in a more of a stiff filling, if you will.
Right.
So I'm kind of curious if how he likes that. He says, I had the option to go with triple monitors, obviously, being an Obata Ozone, but he has been holding off for the Riff, like Trevor.
Yeah, and then the Rift price came out. I wonder if Alan had this. I don't know if this email came out before or after the Rift price was revealed.
Probably after. He says, I had the pleasure of testing the DK2 on my system for about 3 months and was really amazed.
Ah, okay.
He
So
says-
I was going to say he probably doesn't care about the price because he's had a chance to actually
Yeah.
try it. So once you
Yeah.
get a chance to try something, then all of a sudden the dollar signs don't really matter as much because it's like I must go back. I need to get back to
Yes.
that now.
That's true. That is very true. He then says, my PC specs are Intel i7 3770K at 3.50 GHz, 8 gig RAM, NVIDIA 970. Ding, 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 ding.
Which seems to be a very popular card, the one that I've actually just
It does.
upgraded to. A lot of people are running that same card, so I was apparently right on the money with that one because that's
Apparently so.
apparently seems to be the sweet spot for a lot of these sim racing rigs.
Yeah, he does not say what kind of inch monitor or TV screen, but that looks like a monitor. Looks pretty big though. Probably, I don't know. It kind of looks like a 27-inch or something.
I don't
like
know.
that.
It looks a little bigger than what I've got. I mean, it's kind of hard to tell with perspective, but it looks
Yeah.
at least similar in size. Maybe a little bigger because I'm running a 27, and that looks a bit bigger than what I got. But it could just be with the
Yeah.
perspective.
Yeah, so he's got everything set up there pretty good. Computer off to the left, keyboard tray that swings back and forth. I'm assuming that he has it that way anyways. One thing that's interesting to note is the fact that his gear shifter is in gear. So he's in fourth gear in the picture. So he's ready to go.
Well,
I just thought that was cool.
I mean, you shouldn't take off in fourth gear. I mean, that's going to be a pretty slow start. You know, I mean,
Well, I mean, yeah, but and that looks like one of those fancy either Razer or Logitech keyboards over there. It's got some red going on in it, so it looks like a gaming keyboard.
yeah,
With a
because
gaming mouse.
it looks like it has the old WASD keys highlight in red, and as well as the arrows.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And
that's
that mouse looks like a gaming mouse as well. So,
it's a bit too big just to have two buttons and a wheel.
and if I'm not mistaken, it's hard to see, but down there on his computer, is that like some sort of system that like tells him temperatures of his like CPU and graphics card on the front of his computer?
Oh
down
yeah,
there?
it does look like it, doesn't it?
Because like I'm zooming in and it's definitely temperatures on the picture. Like one says 22, one says 27, but it's hard to read otherwise. But it does look like something that's like a CPU and GPU temperature, or just computer in general temperature, which I don't know that I've ever seen on the front of a computer.
That's pretty cool. I mean, I'm a pretty
Yeah.
big gaming, geek when it comes to things, and I don't have that on the front of my. Now I'm jealous. Like I have an app that I have to run separately on my computer and take up like precious monitor space to do that. But
Yeah. So I don't know. I kind of thought that was cool. I was noticing that when I saw his picture for the first time. I was like, "What's that?" It's
Yeah,
like a
and-
spaceship for his computer.
and he's also got the gear shifters over on the Obata, the actual gear shifting mount off to the side, which I don't have attached to my cockpit currently, but I'm going to when I move everything around. So now that's actually good. I can actually get an idea of where it actually sits now.
Yeah, yeah.
So it
That's
actually
the way
sits up
I-
a lot pretty. It sits about even with the keyboard tray, which is about what I figured it would. So
He actually has his in, from what I can tell, in the exact same position that I have mine. So
Looks pretty far forward, isn't it? I mean, that looks like it's a little bit forward of the wheel.
Yeah, it is a little bit. But honestly, I have long arms, so and he may as well. So that's probably why he's got it so far forward. For you, you might want to back that up a little bit.
Yeah. Plus, I might be using mine. I'll also probably use mine to put the joystick on and stuff like that when I'm playing Elite and things like that. So,
Yeah.
but so that was Mr. Allen's rig. Thank you very much, Alan, for sending that in. And if everything works properly, I should hit this button here, and boom, we should be moving on to Mr. Ben Stock. And Ben, as you can see here, Ben plays the sim racing rig with guitars. So that's interesting. I didn't know that was an option, but it's a.
Yeah, well, the faster you play, the faster your car goes.
Also looks like he has a gaming keyboard too there as well, or he's taken whiteout to his keys. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it looks like a gaming mouse and keyboard that looks like a wireless mouse, if I can tell.
See, I'm not going to zoom in and stuff because that'll mess up the whole screen. I
Yeah.
I spent a bunch of time getting everything all set up nice so it all fits on the screen here. I'm not going to mess with it now. So you'll be my
It might be wired.
You'll be my
It kinda
play-by-play
looks
guy.
Yeah. And now on the left side of the screen. Oh, but now here we got to take a moment before you read his specs here, and we got to point out probably the coolest part of this whole picture. Can you find it, Trevor?
Well, I was pretty taken aback by the baby blue automobile curtains.
Well, that's not what I was talking about, but yes.
But there's also the Le Mans picture off to the left as well.
Oh man, you have failed me.
Oh.
It's right in the center of the picture. I just think it's sweet. Can you find it?
Let's see. Well, above the monitor on the left, it says the best dad.
Yep, there you go. He's the best dad. Ben Sock, right there. Number one dad.
Hey, whoa. Now, anybody who watches the show on my video feed, you will know that behind me I have the world's.
You got to keep your voice to the mic.
I know. Well, I was looking at it. The world's best dad.
Why?
The world's best dad trophy is behind me. So obviously he can't be the best dad because I got a trophy. It's got Wolverine on the top of it.
Yeah, but it is written in print. The best dad.
Well,
and there's even a stick figure of, I'm assuming, Ben to the left of that. I'm sorry. That was just one of the first things that I saw out of this whole. Like you saw the guitars, I saw the best dad.
I saw the curtains.
Yeah, I noticed that too. But the curtains kind of go with it. It's race car-ish.
Well, true enough. Although while this is obviously the man cave of a person who enjoys automobile racing, this is by no means the most racing we will see in our picture sets. That is to come later on, and actually several of you have some pretty cool man caves going, but there is one in particular that if you do not know that person enjoys auto racing, then you have gone in blindfolded. But moving into Ben.
I didn't see that coming at all.
If only you told me you enjoyed motorsports. But anyway, yes. I like the way Ben starts. Ben, of course, teammate, guy we've hung out with a bunch. Starts his email off with, "Seeing as you asked, I thought I would drop you a line and tell you about my setup." It's like, since you brought it up, I mean,
If you really want me to.
And I sense another trend coming here as well. It's nothing special, really. So far I'm getting the fact that none of you people are proud of what you put together, no matter how much money you spent on them.
It's like, oh, did I really do this?
It's nothing special, really. Again, Obuto Ozone here, right in the middle, as you can see. Trust me, special. But anyway, he says it's nothing special, really, but I put a few modifications that I've highlighted below. And below he means in the email. The big bit is an Obuto Ozone with the extra triple screen mounts and tabletop. I didn't see that he actually... I would like to...
Yeah, he does have the tabletop, which is what I have. But I would like to point out something. It appears, now I don't know if he says this in his little speech that you're reading here, but it appears that on the bars that go up from the ground on the Ozone, that it almost looks like he's added padding. Are you seeing that? They look a lot thicker. Kind of like where your legs are, you know, like where your legs go down to push the
Yeah.
pedals. It's almost like he's added padding there to
Like you do on the middle of a
stand and rest
BMX
on.
bike or something.
Yeah. So, you know, like in case he gets into a big crash at Daytona, you know, he's got that extra padding.
In case his legs go thrashing side to side during an accident. But yeah, I wondered about that tabletop thing. But I mean, like, I'm looking at my setup. Like, I don't even know where you'd. Like, I always thought it was something you had to have instead of the wheel, but it looks like he has it in there behind there. But maybe I just don't understand where that thing fits.
The tabletop sits, you know, like the part that comes up where you currently in your sim rig have your steering wheel attached.
Mm-hmm.
The tabletop centers on top of that part, like your wheel's not attached, and you Velcro it to that little platform, and then the steering wheel sits on top of the tabletop, and then bolts in between the tabletop accessory and then the little platform that is already there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Because actually
works
having
just
that,
fine.
yeah, actually having that extra space up there would be kind of neat, you know. And
Oh yeah, very handy, very handy.
excellent. But anyway, he says I modded the middle screen mount so that the monitor is 2.5 inches closer, which I believe he has a picture of here, which I will change
Yes,
over
it
here.
is.
There it is.
It looks very nice.
Which, yeah, I saw that. It's like, huh. Well, that was interesting. So,
I
which
bet
means
that would help out with his, like, I mean, he could probably elaborate more on this when we talk to him next, but I wonder if that would help with getting the two side monitors, because obviously he has triple screens, to line up better with the center monitor, because, and like to angle them at more of an angle, like more degree, instead of, because like by default, and I don't know how, let's see. Does he say, yeah, 24-inch monitors? So, I mean, maybe it angles a little better by sticking it out more. I don't know.
I would thought, I
Or
would
maybe it's
think,
just because he wanted to sit closer to it. I don't know.
yeah, I would think that it would actually cause, you know, because the triple monitor thing, they're actually set up in such a way that, you know, to make sure, you know, everything fits properly by changing it. I would think that would actually mess it up, but I guess not. Or maybe he had to do some, you know, further modifications in order to make it all fit. But there it is with his extra setup there. Just bring it back here to.
I mean, everything, if you look at the image where, you know, he's doing a head-on of it, everything looks pretty nice with the monitor. So I kind of like, I like that extension. Maybe I can get him to come do it for me.
All right. So now looking actually at that picture that Chad mentioned there with the center on, that actually gives a really good view of everything going on there. Going back to what he said, well, actually says, which helps me get more of an angle on the side monitors and a much more immersive FOV. Were you cheating?
I was not cheating. I was looking at the picture. I'm just experienced in triple screen, so I know this stuff.
The monitors are 3 Iyama 24-inch. I've never even heard of that brand before.
I haven't either.
24-inch monitors. Yep, the ones that kept crapping out on me, but are now touchwood
Oh,
behaving.
yeah. Do you remember that story in the forums?
Yeah.
Where he kept having issues with it. This was in our team forum, so not everybody's going to know this, but he kept having a lot of issues with this brand of monitors where they just quit working.
Which is always great. It's like, hey, everything's driving, everything's great. All of a sudden, uh-oh.
Yeah, not good.
Somebody snuck up behind me in the car and put their hands over my eyes and played the Guess Who game. This is not a good time.
I'm entering turn 1 at Daytona. Ah.
Guess who? Grim Reaper? Yeah. My PC specs are AMD 6300 at 4.2 gigahertz, 8 gigs of RAM, NVIDIA GTX 780 Ti, which is not the 970s that we've been talking about, but the Ti brand I think is actually pretty close as far as performance.
Yeah.
At 5, I always the resolution for the triple screens always amazes me because, you know, mine's like 1920 by 1080, and of course with the extra width, you know, his is 5760 by 1080 at 60 hertz. Windows 7 64-bit. The PC runs pretty well, but the triple screens do seem to push it to the limit, which would make sense based on what you know,
Yeah.
having a little slower of a processor going on there, and it really doesn't like the new iRacing smoke for some reason. Yeah, well, like I said, that's what
Not sure
said.
much does.
That's what said to me. You need a new video card, Trevor, because I love the way the smoke worked. I hated the 10 frames per second. Let's see. Input-wise, I use an old Logitech G27, but I've added the Nixum brake mod to firm the brake pedal up. It's the second person who has modified their brakes for the G27 pedal, which I don't get. Well, okay, I do get, but when you sent me your old G27 pedals, and then I have the G29s now, I find that brake is plenty stiff. But
oh my gosh, you're such a wimp.
Going from what I was going through, I feel I can kind of slam on that brake enough, and it's not going to lock things up. So, I don't know. I like it.
You're a wimp. You're a wimp. You know nothing about brake pushing.
Well, I know that when I was done my 6 hours of stints at the Daytona 24, that my leg hurt a lot.
You know nothing.
And he also connected the pedals using the Leo Bodnar cable, which is
Bodnar.
Bodnar.
Bodnar. There you
go. For audio, he uses the Corsair HS40 USB headset. I built my own button box that gives me 15 extra buttons. Okay, I was noticing the button box and it didn't look like a common design, but he actually just said, you know what, I'm just going to build it.
I'm smart.
15 extra buttons, which I see has some labels on there. I've followed this thread here, which, well, it's not going to do you any good because it's in the email. But if I remember, I will put that in the show notes for this Thursday's show in case you want to build your own button box. It works great. Was really easy to knock together. Just, like banging rocks, And cost...
I like how one of the buttons says SRY.
That's my sorry. He should just have one big button in the middle of it all, like have all the ancillary buttons around to do everything with just a big middle button that says sorry, so you can just hit that without even looking.
Yeah.
And it costs him no more than £20, which I'm pretty sure is $5,000 Canadian, because everything is $5,000 Canadian nowadays.
Man.
On top of my wheel, I have an old iPhone 3GS that had been sitting in a drawer for a few years. It now runs iHUD, which is a great little app which gives you customizable dials. Cool. And I guess you could see that right through the wheel there. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I actually kind of a long time ago, I used to kind of run Z1 dashboard on my iPod very similarly. I had it kind of sitting basically right where he does in that picture.
Cool.
So, but I don't do that now. But that is a good little trick. And you can use a lot of those phone apps, if you will, that like iHUD, like he's saying here, that are really, really nice and really, really add to the experience.
Yeah, it's one of the things I've been actually going through these. That's the other thing I've noticed a lot of is people using secondary screens of some sort, be it a tablet or a phone or just an extra monitor down low. Like a lot of people are using a lot of extra screen space to put some stuff on, which is really cool. Makes me kind of thinking it's like, oh man, I don't have all the information. I need more information now. And to the right of that, I have a cheap 10-inch tablet that runs iSpeed, which is what I use to display all my timing and fuel information on. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. Oh yeah, okay, just the triple monitors, the Oboto thing, the custom build button box, the iPhone, all this stuff. But other than that, it's nothing special. I mean, it's something I just dug out of the garbage that somebody was throwing away. He says, I don't think upgrading anything will bring down my lap times at the moment. I just need that one thing that money can't buy. No, not love, but more time to practice. Well, money could buy that. See, if you had a whole bunch of money, then you wouldn't have to work anymore. Then you could be iRacing all the time. So,
yeah.
I might add some butt kickers and sim vibe in the future, which would be, man, I would love that. Actually, he's even got labels on his labels on his G27 buttons as well. I didn't notice that before, which is pretty cool.
Although, if you when you look far away from them, it looks like they're written in like hex code or whatever. But one of them says left, one of them says right,
Right.
one says talk, one says pit, one's T3, which I'm assuming is TeamSpeak, and the other one is box, I think, or socks. I can't read it. It's either box or socks. I don't know. Maybe
Right.
he's got a little button that brings socks out.
Well, he is apparently the best dad. So apparently, if he hits that button,
It's
maybe
true.
it rings a little bell, and his child brings him a fresh pair of socks.
Bring me socks.
I've been racing for too long. These ones are sweaty and gross.
Oh, we have too much fun.
Let's see. But I'd like to try some out first before breaking out the wallet. We're talking about the butt kickers and the sim vibe. Yes, I would definitely like to try something like that out as well. Ooh, wait. I know a person who has something that makes the seat move around. Maybe I can try it out at their place sometime. If I happen to be in the same state.
I don't know
Sometime.
who that is.
Oh, wait, here we go. Hope you like the pics. The curtains were not my choice, but my 5-year-old son likes them. And yes, I know the cables are a mess. Okay, so he addresses the...
Yes.
the
He addresses all of that.
See, everything that we picked out, other than the bet. Well, he doesn't talk about his Le Mans stuff on the side. Like, I don't know if that's
No.
his hint to iRacing, saying, "Hey, I know Nim, watches the show. So if he sees the picture of Le Mans off the side, he'll be all like, "Hey, hurry up."
Yeah. Exactly. Those words exactly.
But yeah, that's actually quite the group of cables off there. If I going back to the first picture there, it's like sim rig, and then you can just see through the cracks nothing but cable. And I can relate. That's basically what mine looks like right now. So
Yeah.
but so anyway, that was Mr. Ben Stock's setup, and he doesn't talk about the guitars at all. Doesn't say hope. And also, by the way, I'm the lead guitarist in Kiss.
Yeah. I play Rock Band. Or Guitar Hero.
I was playing the new Guitar Hero last night. It's a lot of fun. But anyway,
Yeah.
moving along. Now we go past all Ben's pictures again. Who's this person? I see a setup. It looks like a nice velour-looking type of seat. Well, okay. Doesn't actually look comfy. Chad, can you talk about this seat? Because that looks like there's no cushioning there at all, and it would hurt your butt.
There is some cushioning, believe it or not, but it does hurt your butt. I will freely admit that. The picture on the screen is, of course, my sim rig. So welcome to Mikasa, burnished caramel in the background everywhere. So, yeah, as you can see in this first picture, I got the triple screens going on. I do have the tabletop accessory, like I said, which is where I put my keyboard, because I find it to be a little bit easier to access when racing so that I can do text chat or type in certain commands if I need to.
So do you actually leave it up there all the time, or is that just its position
Yes.
when you're racing?
It stays there all the time.
But then again, you don't do a lot of other gaming on your PC as well that requires keyboard and stuff, do you?
Yeah, no, like like I play the golf club, which obviously uses that Xbox controller that's over to the right there, and then I play the Sim some, which that does involve the keyboard, but not a whole lot. So mostly it just does the mouse clicking. Now you can't see it in the first picture, and if I'm not mistaken, I don't think you can. Well, actually, you could see it in the second picture, kind of, but
Well, let me bring up the second picture.
well, you don't have to. But my mouse is off on the keyboard tray on the right. So like if you look at the front of the computer, you'll see the mouse kind of hidden there on that second picture. But let's see. So right now, as you can see, like go back to the first picture now.
Back to the first picture.
You can see, you have to announce everything. You can see that the iFlag box is still kind of just sitting on the tabletop. I have still not yet, for some ridiculous reason, got that bolted, or not bolted, but I was going to Velcro it somewhere. I haven't really decided yet where I want to Velcro it yet, so for now it's just kind of been sitting there until I figure it out. Obviously has the Driving Force GT steering wheel sitting there in the middle. The red add-on clicky thing I'm missing one, as you can tell, um, because after it fell off in the Bathurst 1000, I then put it back on, and then during the 24 hours of Daytona, it came back off. So
Ah.
apparently, my downshifter one doesn't like to stay on very well. I don't even feel like I hit it that hard, but apparently, it's just like, no, I'm not doing this anymore. Sorry.
I was going to say, because I know you said you fixed that.
Yeah, I did. And then during the 24-hour race, it came back off. So, whatever. You'll notice at the very bottom of the picture, I have a cup holder that was not self-made necessarily. I was going to say that, but that's not true. But it was like I just randomly discovered it. And I was like, hey, like it was at my parents' house, and I was like, hey, can I has this?
How do you randomly
Because
discover a cup holder that works with your sim rig?
we were going through a bunch of junk, and I was helping them, and I just happened to pick it up. And the way it clamps on, it was going to work perfect on the tabletop. And so I was like, hey, you're obviously not using this. Can I use it? And so, ta-da! And so that's a very, very convenient cup holder. At the top of the picture on the left, you'll notice I have my iPad up there, which I use to. I have basically I could use anything up there, but I mostly use a still image that has information about the preset text chat that I've set up on my keyboard, so I know which button to push to bring up like Good Race All, for example. I have the two speakers that are sort of at the top middle of the picture on the middle monitor there. Those two speakers are Bose speakers, and they make the race car sound really loud and bassy. And I love them. And as I've mentioned before on our show at some point or another, but if you're new to the show, those two speakers only play the game sounds. So like the car engine sounds, the tire squealing sounds, hitting the wall sounds, only like those kind of noises come through that. All voice chat actually goes through my headset, which you'll see laying on the keyboard tray over there on the right. So, and that headset is a Razer headset, but I don't know how to pronounce the model because it's like really crazy. And then I have in the middle there, on the middle monitor, you'll see my microphone that I use for the show. Yay.
Now I know where it lives. I knew it was somewhere
Yeah.
above you and in front of you, but I didn't know where. Now I know.
It's right there. And so that's kind of all the front. So we'll move to picture two. Again, don't
moving
announce
to
it.
picture
Don't
two.
announce it.
Oh, wait. Okay. I did it.
I- and you'll see my computer, and you'll see that my wire management is actually fairly in order. I kind of did like where my sim rig used to be, it was somewhat in order, but not quite. And when I got everything set up in my new house, I specifically took the time to go through and kind of make it all that work a little better and look a little bit nicer. Obviously, you can see the main PC sim pedals there. Got those bolted down. And what I've actually done, and this isn't the greatest picture to see it with, but what I've actually done is the platform that comes with the Obutta, I have an Obutta Ozone, in case you didn't know. The platform for the pedal tray is what they call it, actually. I've actually glued a bunch of wood together, and because of I'm kind of a tall person, Trevor can tell you that.
Yep.
And so because of the weird way that I sit, and because the seat that I have, which I'll explain in a minute, sits a little bit higher than the Obutta does, the seat that comes with the Obutta this seat sits higher than that one by actually like several inches, like 2 or 3 or 4 inches. It kind of raised me, and because of my height and the way that I like to kind of sit in my cockpit where I like the steering wheel to be kind of close to me, and it does sit fairly close to me. I actually put the pedals as high as they could go with the brackets on the Ozone, and so therefore I glued a bunch of wood together, and you can't see the wood, but I put it underneath the pedal tray to where the pedal tray actually sits level with the little bar that it's attached to at the back. And those of you that have an Obutta, that'll make sense. And so that pedal tray is actually completely flat, and it doesn't move. And that way I have kind of a platform to rest the heels of my foot on, and then the pedals are like where I push are right there, so it's very comfortable, and my feet aren't dangling in the air like they would have been because of the way that I set the pedals up. So that's
Cool.
kind of a nice convenience there. That was a little modification I did, but and then on the left of the picture, you see I got a fan over there. You'll see where the green light is on. If you can see that, that's where the speaker base is for
Okay.
my speakers. So it's just off to the right, and then obviously that's the computer there. Um, and on the third picture,
Well, just before we go to the third picture,
okay,
you have an Obuto Ozone, which for some
uh-huh,
reason I thought you had the Revolution, but anyway.
nope, ozone.
Why is it sitting on? Is it sitting on the corpse of a playseat? Did you kill a playseat and use its hide to hold up your Obuto?
Okay, so here's the story on that one. That's funny, but not true. I used to have a play seat set up. I don't remember which model I had, but I had the play seat where it had the seat, and then it had the steering wheel holder where you could attach your steering wheel, and then it had the pedal tray down at the end of it. And where I used to race, I didn't want to scratch the floor, so I bought the rug, which is something that they offer for those of you that, well, I don't know if they still offer it, but they used to anyways. And I have actually sold my play seat to my cousin, I think. Um, and so he uses that, but I kept the rug because I didn't want to, even though I knew I was going to get the Obata, I didn't want to run into the same problem. And I'm really glad I kept it because the carpet in this house is much thicker than the carpet where I used to race. So it actually really helped having that rug to put under in my new house.
Cool.
Now, one other thing, since you reminded me to go back to number two, you can kind of see it in the distance in the center there. You'll see my G27 gear shifter where it comes attached out from the Obata. I've got it laying there. And I have, I forget the exact name, but it's the G25, G27 Leo Bodnar gear shifter thing. It's sort of like what the ones for the pedal is, where you can make the pedal stand alone. This is what I have. That's what you see, the orange thing that's directly below the gear shifter. That is actually holding up the little Leo Bondar box that makes the G27 a standalone USB connection. So
Why would
I
you
have
need?
that as well.
So why would you need that? Because the cable for the pedals gives you more resolution and more more
Mm.
positions. But I mean, the gear shifter is either in gear or not in gear. So what good does that do?
Well, it actually does do you some good with the resolution on it. It'll actually shift a little bit quicker, which can help you when you're shifting. And it also does me good because I don't use my G27 to race anymore.
Oh, right,
So
yeah, right.
therefore, I would not
Okay,
have anywhere to plug it in.
makes perfect sense.
Wake up, Trevor.
All right, all right.
Yeah, so that's why it's standalone, so that it can be its own deal. But it actually really does help with, I think, a little bit with its resolution. And he's got a little program that I had to download, and you had to set up all six gears and well, seven if you count reverse. So anyway, so that's there, and I love that shifter as well.
And you have the fan there because you do not have a button for somebody to bring you clean socks, so you have to keep cool throughout the race. So
That's true. That's true. Also, not pictured, I have another fan that is on the left side of my cockpit, and it does the same thing. So,
ah,
but is not in the pictures. So, picture three.
all right.
As you can see, you got the three screens going on picture three. It's kind of an above shot. In the bottom right-hand corner, you'll see a fourth monitor, which is something that I've always wanted to add to my sim rig, but where I used to race didn't really have the room. It was in a much smaller room that I am in now. So now I've got that set up and underneath there. I had thought about doing some kind of rigging to where I could, mount it and hang it above my center monitor, but then I thought, I can just set it on the floor. So I mostly only put like TeamSpeak or something like that down there that's not really that important, but is something that I might check out at some point.
Right.
You can see hanging underneath the tabletop is where I hang my gloves that I use when I'm racing, when I'm not racing. I put Velcro underneath there and just hang them there.
Nice.
And then you'll also see my shoes that everybody loves, but you guys have mostly seen those. And yes, if you have not seen those, the shoes on the left there are the shoes that I use to race with.
They have toes.
I know. And they're very comfortable. And here you, actually with this shot, I just now realized this. You see the main performance PC logo down there.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually attached to the wood that I glued to put underneath the pedal tray there.
Ah.
So I kind of gave them some free advertising.
Well, I was going to say, and also you have, I don't know what G-Force racing gear is, but it's on the back of your seat there. It's on your cable tray. How much are they paying you, and how do I get my cut?
That is actually, and you can't see it in this picture, and you can't really see it in the other pictures either, but that is actually the company that made the seat belts that I have for the seat.
Ah, okay.
They just sent 2 stickers, and I was like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with these. So I just stuck them there. So that's where they are. And then, of course...
Oh, and then you got your button box.
Go ahead.
Sorry, no, I was going to say, and to the left-hand side, underneath the cup holder on the carpet, appears to be your wallet. I'm not sure why that's part of the picture, but...
Yes. I was just noticing that, and I don't know why I laid it there, but there you go. You gotta have the wallet near, because you never know when you're gonna wreck your car and have to pay for it.
Well, see, that's the thing is, if you had it open up so we could read your driver's license or social insurance, social security number, see, that would be helpful.
It would be. I'm sorry I didn't come through on that for you. Yeah, but button box Z1 dashboard is Velcroed to the top of the button box and sits perfectly just there. But behind the button box is the calculator, which I use for the golf club and for calculating fuel. And it is like a very, very technical one. Let's see. And then the seat, which is, a couple of these views showed the seat, the first view probably showed the seat the best, but that's the GS4 G seat, and as Trevor said at the very beginning of this talk, it does not have a lot of cushion. That's why I actually took, I went to Lowe's and bought an anti-fatigue mat and then cut it apart. And you'll actually see on the first picture, on the pedal tray, I've actually got part of that anti-fatigue mat where I rest my hills. And then the rest of it, I cut out 4 pieces and attached to the paddles. There's 4 paddles on where you put your rear end and then at your back in that seat, which you can't see with the cover on. And I attached those to that, so it makes the seat way more comfortable. I remember the first time I ever used the seat, it was without the anti-fatigue mat on there, and oh my gosh, it hurt. So after I put those on there, though, it's way more comfortable. So that's kind of the sim rig overall, if you will. And computer-wise, I have a main PC. Pretty much all of this came from main PC that you can buy from there, as far as like the sim rig and everything. And the main piece, the computer is made for main PC, and I fully customized it. I've got the Intel i5 2500K, 3.33 gigahertz, and they did overclock it, so it runs, overclocked at overclocked position. I got Windows 10, and I have a 750 watt power supply, 16 gigs of RAM. It has an NVIDIA GTX 770 graphics card, and I have 1 terabyte of hard drive space. I do have the cool thing is that this is a shoot, I just forgot the name of it. Can't think of the name of it. Cooler Master, that's the name of it. Case, and it has all kinds of openings. The second view would probably show it better. on that, where it's got a lot of different openings. You can see there on do you have the second picture up?
I do.
Okay, good. You can see on the top it has it, and then on the side it's got a lot of openings. There's one in the back, and actually underneath the computer there's a big opening, so air can flow through that puppy. And attached to the top of the computer is this is something I added on, is a Concierge H100 liquid cooling system, which connects to the CPU, and it has two fans in that, and it really helps cool the CPU. And then I've got, like, I don't know, like 3 or 4 fans in there that kind of help keep everything else inside cool. And so it air keeps them moving, that's for sure, on there. So and I went all out. Like, this was when I got that computer, I went, I went all out on everything. I debated between the Intel i7 and the i5, but I did some research, and the main difference between the i7 and the i5 was really, I think, the tethering, if that's what they call it. I can't remember. That the i7 has, which only worked for like certain programs. So I didn't really find it necessary to get it, so I just went with the i5 and then overclocked it so it runs a little bit better than it might would out of the box with no overclocking. So
Yeah, like when I built my PC, it was an i5 because for gaming purposes, there was no reason to spend the extra coin on the i7 at that point in time. And I have no need to upgrade yet either, so.
Yep. So that's kind of that, and that's really kind of the gist of and it's I don't know the name of the motherboard, but it's kind of a, I was trying to look and see, but I don't know the name. It doesn't say the name either. But it's a really good one. It's for gaming as well. So I, although recently I've kind of gone downhill a little bit on frames per second, I still run pretty darn good. So it's a good system.
Cool. Although, and that table, man, that seems way less in the way than I thought it would. I don't want to turn this into the, hey, can Trevor put a table to his cockpit conversation, but I was misunderstood how that would all fit, because I'm looking at all that extra space you got going on there, and I'm kind of jealous because I'm always running out of places to put stuff, especially while I'm streaming or podcasting and stuff. So
yeah, it's really nice. That was one of the things that I looked at it. I kind of did the same thing as you. I looked at it and was like, oh, well, how would that work? And then I kind of saw some YouTube, some video of different people having it, and I thought, ooh, I need that. So, and I will mention this just real quickly before we move on, that my setup, although it is kind of my own creation, I will tell you guys that it was inspired by somebody that we're going to talk about soon, that's going to show us their sim rig, and it was also kind of inspired by Ray O'Fala's rig, because Ray used to have, maybe he does now again, but he used to have triple screens, and he has the Obata and things like that, and like where my keyboard is on the tabletop accessory and it's to the left of the steering wheel there, that was something that Ray did, and I kind of looked at that and I thought, that actually, I could see how that would be more convenient. So that's why mine is there as well.
Cool. All right. So that is Mr. Chad's setup. Moving right along, we have Mr. Chris Brown. See, and actually, when I initially looked at that, I thought it was 2 screens and it was like offset, and I thought that was really confusing. And how would you ever do that? But it's just the other screen isn't very lit up. So
now, well, it's because he's at a different angle.
Yeah.
But here's the thing that I love about his setup. Is the first thing I noticed. If you look at the very bottom and below the back of the seat, it says "Modified by Chris Brown." It's trademarked.
It's sitting in his office in his house, but he wants to make sure. Yeah. I wonder if you put that on before we took the picture, or for this as well.
I don't know, but I just thought that was funny.
So Chris says, this is my iRacing sim rig. It's a modified Rigmotech RS design.
I'm not sure how you would concept.
Yeah, I've never heard of that before. Built over 3 months of weekends in my quote-unquote free time. So Chris is probably a man such as myself who actually really has no free time. He says, I'm getting ready to build a new computer as my old computer is getting a little long in the tooth. The idea is to beat Trevor on Indy road courses as I'm still having nightmares about crashing with them at Laguna Seca. As you recall, I mentioned that where he had actually gone to get out of my way at the exact same time that I was losing control of my car, so he ended up basically positioning himself exactly where I was crashing. So I hit Mr. Chris on the track at Laguna Seca. So apparently he is now he's building up everything in such a fashion so that will not happen again. But
Yes.
but as you can see by Chris' design there, I mean, he's got the triple screens, obviously. He's got that fourth screen up top there, which is pretty cool.
He races in a nightclub. Look at all the blue lights. It's just like neon everywhere.
Well, and while he's racing, I'm sure he's probably got the dubstep going in the background, and those probably
the disco ball
pulsate.
comes down.
And you have all of this high tech, and the steel and the seat and stuff, and then he's got that like old fashioned looking lamp just off to the side, just to give him that little bit of light as well. But yeah, that screen up top, which I'd assume he probably has used that as probably TeamSpeak or
High speed kind of thing.
yeah, that sort of thing. Although he does look like he has a little
Yeah.
a tablet, I think, down on the lower right hand side
Yep.
there, which he probably uses for that purposes as well. But
Yeah.
that is a custom setup. Like, and the speakers down there at the bottom there looks like he's got those kind of like aimed up towards him. I wonder if he has it so they just make engine noises.
Probably. And he's got the one speaker, above that fourth monitor at the top. And then he's got another tablet that's behind the steering wheel that looks like it's kind of, it's hard to see, but it looks like it's kind of hanging from just below the center monitor there. It's got his gear, what gear he's in, I'm assuming. And it almost looks like to the far left over here, where the Bass Pro logo is, almost looks like some kind of button going on over there. Almost like a switch, like you start the engine with.
Oh yeah,
you see that down there? On
yeah,
the left
like
corner?
3 switches almost right there.
Yeah, and then below that, there's like 5 more on what almost appears to be another button box. So he's got all kinds of switches. It's like a spaceship. But my favorite part is that he actually has a place where he can hang his headset. Like he's literally put that into the system over there on the right. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, because I just hang mine on the back of my chair, and then if I forget it's there and I lean back, I just keep whacking it off, and it falls to the ground all the time.
Yeah. So yeah, it's kind of cool. He's got all kinds of little areas where he can put stuff. He's even got a clock underneath the right monitor, so he can keep up with the time.
Be all like, "Oh no, I should have gone to bed a long time ago."
This
crap.
24-hour racing, it's horrible.
But my question is, with such a great setup, why did he hit me at Laguna Seca? He's got all the information there. One of those tablets there or monitors should have been flashing. Trevor's going to hit you.
It should have been.
Where's the switch? Where's the switch that says? I'm just kidding with you, Chris. But that's one of the more custom looking ones we've seen as well, as opposed.
Yeah.
Obviously he said it is from a design, but I mean that just I like the steel plating down by the pedals, and that is a cool looking setup. Pretty cramped in there though, with all the the movies and the books, and looks like he's got a Dale Earnhardt book up there.
You can never have enough movies because you never know when you're going to have a run-in with Trevor and have to start watching one.
Yeah, it's like, well, I guess my race is done. I'll just sit here and throw in a movie now.
Throw in Jurassic World, I guess.
No, that jerk took me out of the race.
Yeah, I do like you were mentioning there earlier, how he's kind of customized where his speakers are. I think that's... he's even got 2 speakers now that I look at it. He's got 5 speakers here.
Yep.
He's got 2 on the seat, 2 next to the monitors, and 1 up top. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, like surround sound, like just
Surround
all
sound.
aimed right at his head.
Yeah. And see, that's what I did with mine. I only had the 2 speakers, but they're in surround sound. but they're aimed, right at me. So that's pretty cool.
Cool.
I like it.
All right. Moving along from Chris, we have
To
Mr. Clay.
Clay W.
And there we go.
Much like me not wanting to share my wallet's information, he doesn't want to give his last name out. So, Clay, as you can see, also has triple screen, and he has seat. Okay, right here. This play seat setup is what I used to have.
Okay.
The seat and where the steering wheel comes out, and I think he's kind of modified the rest of it, but that's what I used to have. So anyways, he has an Intel i5 2500 CPU, SD 256 GB hard drive, the AMD Radeon HD 6800 video card, Cooler Master case. Yay for Cooler Master. And let's see, triple screen, 23-inch monitors on a custom fabricated stand, and then he puts in parentheses, by me. So he apparently created that. He says G27 wheel with shifter, and then the Fanatic CSR pedals with inversion kit, play seat, Corsair CAHS1 headset, Logitech G110, and then he has keyboard and Windows 7 64-bit. And he's got his keyboard, it appears, laying on top of the computer.
Right. Okay. Now there was no commas there, so I believe the playset.
Yeah.
And then pause. Corsair CAHS1 headset. Pause.
Sorry.
Logitech G110 keyboard. Pause. Windows 7 64-bit. Punctuation. It saves lives, Clay.
It does. Let's eat, Grandma. But yes. And then he's also, as you can tell, the bright red seat belts going on there as well. So he's rocking the seat belts. He's got, looks like a wireless mouse sitting in the seat there.
Which I hope is not its normal position, because that would be uncomfortable. I'm navigating the menus with my butt.
Wow. And I think my favorite part about all of this is that he has an upside down Walmart trash can.
Actually, I was going to mention the fact that as during his 24-hour races, as soon as he's done his stint, he just has to fall backwards and go to sleep.
I know. That's very convenient.
That is seems to be a common thread as well. We've seen in a lot of these is a lot of you people have your rig set up in basically here is the only space I have to put this kind of thing, where it's in these small compact sort of areas where you don't have a lot of space. It's like, all right, it fits here kind of mostly, so here's where it shall live. Which is cool that people are just eking out these little pieces of their world to have this monstrous sim racing rig with all of the technology and gear on it in just this teeny little space, just so they can sim race. Yep. Which is pretty cool.
It is.
All right. Let's see. Clint. I will move on
Watchman.
to Mr. Clint Watchman. All right. See, this is where I wish I had somebody else here to flip through the pictures, because, there's a lot of stuff to talk about here. We'll try to get through them all here. Anyway, Clint says, and here's the important part, love the show. See? It's the first one we've seen that start, even Chad didn't start off like that, and I'm pretty sure he likes it. But
I actually hate this show.
Oh, yeah. I do it because I have to. I am forced contractually to have to continue on with the show.
Actually, several people actually said that. I just didn't include it.
Oh, I see. Okay, so you
I just got the specs and left it.
So now I'm ragging on the people that other than Clint. Now I look like the jerk. That's great. Thanks, Chad. You're fired.
Yep.
He says, here are some pictures of my rig and some specs. My goal has been to create a rig that has a good sense of realism on a budget, as the first picture actually shows what I assume to be what looks like I'm sure you'll talk about it, but it looks like a handbrake mod.
Yes,
almost.
I think that is.
And for when you're drifting around Bristol, just.
I think this would suggest that he is left-handed because all of this is on the left-hand side.
True enough. Let's see here. I'm just going to. Okay, you took he made some very specific pictures. While I read through this, I'm going to just go to this picture, which gives a very good overview. The third picture he sent us, while I go through the specs, and we'll kind of go back and take a look at a couple other things here. He says, I've included prices for the equipment too. So this is kind of a, hey, if you want to build what he has, here's how much it cost him. Which, of course, he mentions he's in Australia, so all prices are in Australian dollars. So 5,000. Everything is equivalent of $5,000 Canadian. It says, do-it-yourself timber rig, painted matte black with felt board covers, which cost about $100. So he actually just built his entire stand where his seat is. That's pretty cool. Modified about 4 times already to improve my driving position. OBX racing seat, $70 secondhand. 3 22-inch HP ZR22W monitors, $210 for the whole lot, secondhand. That's pretty dang good for 3 monitors. Let's see, J-Car LCD bracket, $150 for all 3 new. Logitech G27. Wait, I lost. There it is. G27 wheelbase and pedals, $239. Chad is typing furiously in the background, which is coming through on the audio. Sparco P104 Limit PU leather 310 millimeter D-shaped wheel. Oh yeah, look at that. I didn't realize it. Well, he said that he had the G27. I didn't realize he said base, but he's actually got a custom wheel on there for $75. Simulated G27 wheel adapter, which I'm guessing is to make it all work together, for $79. No, wait, sorry. Yes, $79. Simulated G27 pedal pads, $35. I'll go through some of these pictures here in a minute.
Yeah, the pedals are really cool.
Leo Bodnar G27 generic pedal adapter, $65. Philips 5.1 surround stereo system. My wife's old huge stereo system cost her about $1,000 over 10 years ago. Free for me and sounds awesome. Although, see, he has a wife who allows him to have surround sound, you know, while he's racing. So obviously one of the good ones, one of the patient wives when it comes to a man's hobby. Logitech G430 headset, $120. Do-it-yourself sequential shifter, all parts about $40. Now he mentions that. Maybe we'll get a look at that in the picture, but he has the G27 shifter we can see there. But maybe we'll get to that in a second here. Use door latches for the gear clunk effect. Man, he went all out on this. And generic USB board to connect to the computer works great. Pendo Pad 10.1-inch tablet with tablet desk arm for $100. That's right there underneath his monitors. I use this for Dash Meter Pro over Wi-Fi. PC is a secondhand one bought from a kid that builds them in his bedroom. I wonder if the kid is his own kid, and, you know, in the bedroom down the hall. It's nothing.
Better he's just locked somebody in there. Build me stuff.
Here is my room where the computers are built. Do not unlock the door. This is nothing fancy, but gets me racing with triples at Class 3 graphic settings for $290. That is one heck of a second-hand computer if it can run iRacing triples. It's an Intel Q8400, 2.66 gigahertz, 4 gigs of RAM, AMD 6950 1 gig graphics card. Man, he runs triples on that? That's he does say that he goes down to Class 3 graphic settings, but I didn't think that computer would be able to handle that. But
because, like, if you look at picture 3, you know, where he's got Bathurst in the background there, you can tell that it's not quite the greatest that it could be. So I can see how he's a little bit down in the class. Yeah, but I mean, and that's the cool thing too, is the fact that you can build, you build up all the rig stuff, and that's not going to go out of, not going to be outclassed. You can just build the computer up around it to support the, the wonderfulness that you have built to sit in, kind of thing. He's got Windows 10, which is $179. He says, this was a good exercise for me because I wanted to sit down and work through what my spend has been to date. So it looks like the total comes in about $1,752.
So $1,752, and importantly, this has happened over time as I've wanted to upgrade. I'm pretty happy with my rig, and while I haven't been racing much lately due to family commitments, I can relate to that one, I love jumping on and getting in a few laps when I can. I currently have the, well, there's that name again, Rick Motec. Apparently we need to learn more about these people. Load cell on order, so brake mod by the sound of it. My next upgrade will be a base transducer setup, which I'm currently doing some research on. Anyway, those are the details. Attached are some photos, which we're going through. Keep up the great podcast. Really appreciate the time and effort you both put into it. Thanks. So now that I'm done reading all that, let's go back and take a look at some of these, what we've got here. So he doesn't mention, like, is that a custom gear shifter, that brake mod?
I think that's more of a sequential shifter. It almost looks like Derek Spears. I'm not saying that he got this from Derek Spears, but Derek Spears' design, Derek Spear, I keep saying that.
I know, so do I.
Actually created something similar to this. Now, again, I'm not saying that's what this is, but and I guess you could use it as a handbrake, but I think it's more of a sequential shifter, you know, like for the road.
Yes, and
stuff.
he does actually mention that it is a do-it-yourself sequential shifter. I missed that. I thought it was a H pattern. But okay, so that's actually a shifter, and like you said, he actually added in door latches for the gear clunk effect when he actually changes back and forth.
Yeah.
Dang, that's pretty cool.
And of course, as you can see, the G27 gear shifter next to it, so he does have the H pattern, so he can use that if he desires. Now, these pedals are really cool.
Yeah.
Because that is essentially the G27s, but just modified.
Yeah, because I think the innards of the G27, but those are not the plates from the G27.
Yeah, so he's customized the plates. He's, you know, taken off all the plastic that, you know, kind of hides all that stuff inside of it. And then you mentioned something else that I forgot now that he did to them in your little speech there. And he's kind of turned them in to look a little bit more like something that you would find in a car.
Yeah, he mentioned those are simulated G27 pedal pads, which you get for $35.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. Now on picture 3, one of the things that I like is if you look to the far right, you can see the old rim from his G27 just hanging out over there.
Yeah.
It's on standby.
Yeah, just in case this wheel kicks the bucket, you can just, although I'm pretty sure it's probably not as plug and play, I would imagine.
Yeah.
I like his keyboard tray there as well. It's just the windowsill off to the left.
Yeah. Just, I don't know. I'll stick you over there. I did like that too. And also, I think he mentioned that he had some kind of brake mod on his pedals. And let's see, he's got a little tablet there that runs some of the dashboard info. And yeah, he's got he's got a. Oh, and then I'm looking at the picture now where he's got the inside of his computer. So actually, this kind of looks similar. Not quite the same, but similar to the one I have in a way. So it's got a lot of fans, a lot of openings to where you can kind of run air in and out of there, so that helps coordinate. Yep. It looks pretty good. I
was going to say, I wonder if he did he open it up so he could show us, or does it just not have the side on it for extra cooling? Because a lot of people don't actually just put, if they're not in a house with, say, children or cats, they just leave it open for extra airflow.
Well, in looking at picture 3, it looks like the side is enclosed on it, but I can't tell. Because it's sitting up next to the...
now that's dedication. It's like, I'm going to tell you about my computer. Now I'm going to take the side off just so you can see inside of it,
Yeah.
But actually, on the fourth picture there, where he just kind of gets a close-in view of basically what it looks like for him, he's got the surround speaker right in front of him there. That's really cool. I mean, like I said, the fact that he basically just built all this himself, like just put it all together over the course of time. $1,700 sounds like a lot of money, but over over several years, it's like, okay, now I'm going to build this piece, now I'm going to build that piece, kind of thing. So,
yeah,
that's pretty cool.
I like it. And of course, being a true Aussie at the track and the car that he has chosen for the picture. I like it.
I wonder how many others have
Yeah.
have done that one. But so moving along from Clint, thank you very much for sending in those pictures, and that's pretty cool that you built that all that, on a do-it-yourself as opposed to just going out and buying something. It's like, you know what, I'm going to make this special.
Yeah, absolutely.
So moving along, we have Mr. Danny Resser.
We do. And Danny says, here are the pictures of my racing cockpit. He has the Obata Revolution, so he obviously got a better paycheck than we did. And he says that my computer is from main PC. He has the i5 with 32 gigs of RAM. Dang. He went all out.
All the RAM.
It's like, I'll take all of that. And because, 16 on mine is a lot, but man, 32. He has a 250 gig SSD, which of course will help with the load times a little bit there. A 2 terabyte HDD, so he's just really going all out here. And the NVIDIA 770. Oh, I wonder if that's the same one as me. Did they make a regular and a GTX?
No, that's no. The GTX
same,
is
all the same thing.
Yeah, the same thing.
Okay, well then I guess he has the same card as me. He then says that his wheel is a standard G27. The pedals, same thing as me, I know this for a fact, are the main performance PC sim pedals with the hydraulic brake mod, which I forgot to mention I actually have that too, the hydraulic brake mod, because that is optional, I think. And then, let's see, he says, lost my place. Okay. He says
it's only one paragraph, man.
I know. My main screen is a 42-inch LED. The secondary screen is a 27-inch Dell monitor. He hopes to add triple screens, yes, the same size, so 42 inches.
Yeah, I was saying, let's pause on that for a quick second. 42-inch LED screen. Like, look at that sucker. Man, that's bigger than his chair.
It is, and would be a total of 126 inches of screen if you really wanted to go that way. So he then says, but he plans to upgrade his video card to a 970 fairly soon. Hey, Danny, when you do that, how about shipping me one too? Just saying, man.
I don't think it works that way.
I think it does. So that's what he says. As you can see, that's a very large screen. I like how he has the screen kind of tilted down to where I'm sure that, once he's actually sitting in the seat there, it's nice and level. And
you'd have
nice
to.
Oh, yeah. I know, but it's just like, it looks like it would be nice and level there.
I love the fact that he has the secondary screen is a 27-inch monitor. That's my main screen.
Yeah.
And I upgraded to that as my main screen, and I was blown away by the size of it. And I was like, man, I can see through time with this thing. It's so big. And he's got it just as a second. I don't know. That's where I put TeamSpeak and stuff.
Yeah, I have three 27-inch monitors, so I'm on your side with this one. I like how he bought the Obata Ozone cup holder, or Revolution, sorry. I like that. That's nice. I'm looking at picture 2 now. And let's see what we got here. That's kind of an interesting way. I wonder if I have to ask Danny if the way that his TV is kind of bolted onto the resolution. I wonder if that's standard, if he had to customize that, or did I read that? Let's see. I don't think I read that.
No, that's got to be custom. Because
no
normal person would do that. So why would it be set up to allow it?
Exactly. So it does look custom. And let's see, he's got his tennis shoes off to the right there, so in case he needs to run.
I gotta go. Race is done.
Gotta run. Yeah, I like this G27 shifter, over there. Got the G27 regular. No mods to that, just running the standard. Now his G27 shifter looks closer than his is more the way I'm looking at where I'm in picture 3 now, and he's kind of looks like he's got his bolted kind of in the middle.
And that's that's kind of where I'm thinking that I'm going to put mine. I'm not putting a shifter on it. I'm going to be using mine to mount my my new monitor, or not monitor, my new microphone stand and something else I'm going to talk about on Thursday's show. I think I'm going to put there, maybe. I don't know. I don't know if that'll work. But anyway, but yeah, that's kind of where I'm more thinking putting it, where it's a little bit more not so far up, because I'm a short man. I don't have I don't have very long gorilla arms, so I can't reach out that far.
Yeah. And see, he does he do the same thing you do, putting his headset on the seat like that?
Yep, that's exactly where I put mine, and I knock it off all the bloody time.
Yep. I like
Danny's actually in the chat right now, and he says the plate for the Obuto mount is attached to a wall mount fixture. So that's his TV's actually that's a wall mount fixture
Definitely
that he's
custom.
attached into the Obuto, where you would put a normal size monitor. He's put a wall mount instead, and that thing is like I'm just looking at that third picture, like that is just, man, that's a big TV.
It is. That is a very big TV. You can see a lot with that. And man, can you imagine getting 2 more 42-inch to add to that? Like, wow.
Although the best part of this is if you kind of look at the positioning, it's almost like it's just stuck off to the corner. Like, you know, the family's all like, all right, you can have your stuff. You just go over there, away from everybody else, you know.
Yep. And I am looking at picture 4, and I love the trash can, Danny. Looks great.
Yep.
Really matches the rest of the cockpit.
Yeah, it's like, oh, the man, this beastly thing.
Snoopy.
Snoopy. Oh, apparently those are not his tennis shoes. Those are his racing shoes, and actually on the shelf above it are his racing gloves. So, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it's not for running away.
It's for running fast. Fish. Those are nice. Yeah, I like them. Although they look like they have a red ribbon tied to them.
Well, so you don't lose them. Yeah.
That's true. And he does confirm that yes, he is stuck in the corner.
Nobody puts Danny in a corner. Well, except for
For his family.
the family. They put Danny in a corner because Danny's taking up a lot of space with his 42-inch TV.
Wait till he gets all 126 of them.
Don't think the corner will hold that then.
Yeah. So
that is Mr. Danny Resser, teammate and friend of the show. We will move on to, as soon as I get the, there we go. Every now and again, it doesn't like to move forward to the next picture for me, which is great. It's like, move forward to the next picture. No, I want to look at Danny's thing. Like, fine.
Okay. Favorite part of this picture?
Which we haven't even. This is Daryl Temple. I mean, we should at least say whose it is.
Okay. Okay, sorry. It's Daryl Temple. Favorite part of this picture is that the movie Jurassic World is sitting on the table. You can't really see it, probably, but when I zoom in, it is Jurassic World. And it is Blu-ray version.
Oh, yeah, right behind there. Why is that the thing you picked up on?
But because I can just imagine watching dinosaurs on 3 screens.
It's not the fact that this appears to be an all custom rig that he's built out of wood. It's the fact that it's the seat that he pulled out of out of his old Volkswagen. That he's sitting there with the water heater in the background. No, you picked up on Jurassic World.
Yes, I just think that's funny.
So Daryl says, "Hey Chad, listening to you and Trevor. I'm not sure if I'm offended by that, but
I love that line.
It's like, hey Chad, it's like I love listening to you and that other guy who started the thing, but you know."
That's not what he said.
He says, "I've been on iRacing since September of 2014 and loving it, like McDonald's."
Forgot the ba-ba-ba-ba-ba.
Sending you a pic of my do-it-yourself rig. Screwed it together one day. I imagine you had to do a lot of planning in order to get to there.
I know. It's like it's so simple. It's like, I don't know. It just came together.
It's like, I don't know. I just had a pile of wooden monitors in the corner, so got out the old cordless drill and made it happen. He says lots of changes are coming, on one being a real monitor stand. I don't know. They seem to be where they're supposed to be, so it's doing the job. Let's see. Heard about the iFlag from you guys and immediately ordered the components. Had the Arduino kicking around. 3D printed a case. Dang.
Yep. And that's that blue case up there at the top there.
I know, but does he have a 3D printer? Does he just have access to a 3D printer? Can he make a heart out of that? So, to transplant into people? Because I heard you can do that.
You make a real race car?
There you go. Bolt that together. It's like, I don't know.
3D printing race cars.
I 3D printed myself a Ford Fusion and just put it around this. And he's apparently loving the iFlag, as he says. Derek Spear design.
Let me stop you real quick.
Okay.
Let me stop you. Where he has his iFlag,
Mm-hmm.
it's probably. I mean, not mine's probably gonna. I'm thinking. If you remember on my pictures where I had the 2 speakers up there, I'm thinking about maybe velcroing my iFlag to one of those speakers, kind of like what he has, just for the record.
Cool.
Just so you have that visual.
Okay. Are you going to 3D print yourself a case? Because that's pretty awesome.
Probably not.
Okay.
I used to have access to one of those, but I don't now.
Aw. University
that's
cuts. Yeah.
Yeah.
He says he has a Derek Spear design Black Max 2 button box, which you can see off to the right-hand side by the gear shifter. G27 pedals with a do-it-yourself hydraulic brake mod.
Which is very cool.
An ATV brake assembly and pressure sensor, which works awesome, as he says.
That brake is very big.
Yeah, no kidding. It's like...
You wouldn't miss that.
Like gas, clutch, brake, right in the middle. It's like, I don't know if you could heel toe that. You could like just, most of your foot toe it,
Yeah.
Man, that is a beefy looking brake pedal there. He says added a PS2 controller vibration motor via the Arduino Nano to brake pedal for lockup awareness. Holy smokes. So he's got it where it'll actually start to vibrate the brake, if I'm reading that correctly, when he's getting to the lockup threshold.
Yeah.
Like, dang.
Yeah. That's really cool. I know that the Club Sports had that on V1 and V2, I think, maybe even V3, where when you get close to that point, it'll vibrate. And there's like a little, it doesn't work with iRacing right out of the
Okay, then.
Right out of the gate. But it does have, somebody created a little program that makes it work with iRacing. But yeah, that's really cool. And wow, like I mean, this is what I love about doing stuff like this, because you get somebody who's just really smart who can take a PS2 controller?
Yep.
And create that. That's just fascinating. That's really cool.
Well, and the fact that everything else is obviously do-it-yourself too, which is, really neat. I mean, and it's not...
in fact, you can even build your own rig.
Yeah. And then print a box for your iFlag. He says computer is an Asus Sabertooth X58 motherboard with Intel X980 Extreme, overclocked a little, 2 R9 270X video cards in Crossfire, 24 gigs of RAM, Turtle Beach headset, which is not hanging off the back of the seat, which is, obviously the standard place.
Well, you want to hang a Turtle Beach back there.
There we go, 92 Mustang GTC. Okay, I'm very sorry about the Volkswagen joke earlier.
Volkswagen.
I mean, it's a Mustang seat. I feel bad as
this is a vroom vroom seat.
As a Ford man, I feel I've offended myself and everybody around me by my Volkswagen comment. I apologize, Daryl.
I'm pretty sure that Ford just stripped your contract.
Very comfy but slightly sporty. He says, Free had it kicking around. Like you said, he just screwed it together one day. He just had a seat and a box of lumber there.
I don't know. I'll just make a cockpit.
Let's make a cockpit up going on here. The keyboard, I love the fact the keyboard almost looks like it has like sawdust on it, like it was just sitting there while he was building it.
Yeah.
Actually, it looks very similar to my keyboard. I got a Sci-Tech gaming keyboard, and it actually looks pretty similar to that one. It's not quite that model, but quite similar to that. But that is, I mean... We're seeing a lot of this, with the variety here, but people just putting like just all that effort into, into building stuff and just taking out the hammer, the nails, the screw gun, the saw, and just building something up like that. Like that's amazing. And then then with the electronics knowledge in there as well to put in the brake mod and the iFlag together and all that stuff. That's pretty cool. But I would imagine, you'd want to be wearing shoes of some sort, since it's all wood, so, you might get some splinters if you're sliding off the pedals there. But and some good positioning on the button box there too. And I noticed that a lot of people actually, are putting labels on their button boxes, because I often wondered about that. It's like, do people just put get a label maker and label all the buttons? Do they remember what they all mean? Or
yep, yeah, there's no way you remember. I started out with no labels. Labels. I started out with no labels, and then when you're in the heat of battle, so to speak, and you're racing, you don't remember which one's which. So labels are a good thing. Yeah,
well, and that's what I was wondering about, because if you had a button box, I mean, you could use it for more than, sim racing. If you were playing like Elite Dangerous, which is another, a high, a sim thing with a bunch of buttons. I wonder if you could have like some sort of plastic sheet that had labels on it that you could interchange, like a faceplate almost, to the button box. But yeah, that is a pretty cool sim rig you got there, Daryl. That is
absolutely
pretty cool. Thanks for sharing. So, moving on, we have Mr. Wow.
Yeah.
Mr. Ankeny. Dang.
Mr. Wow.
Well, okay. It's just the fact that we went from what, from a very cool do-it-yourself, rig sitting there to this, which looks like it came out of the space shuttle.
Okay, so I mentioned earlier when I mentioned that Ray Alfala and somebody else were kind of inspiration to my sim rig building. Well, you found the guy who was the other inspiration. David Ankeny, who is known for quite some time. Now, David's setup has really gone, like, I don't know what the right word is, berserk, maybe? Like, it started off, pretty high tech. And then you'll notice in the picture that he's actually, and I'm going to talk about it, but he's got it sitting on a platform that has wheels so that he can move it. David is one of the people that goes to the iRaceforlife.org seminar every year, and he is one of the people that takes his sim rig with him. He doesn't live too far from where that is, and so that is why he's put this on the platform to where he doesn't have to take it apart, doesn't have to do any of that stuff, and basically I think all he has to do is probably just move those two side monitors in and then roll it.
Yeah, like, do they fold? Like, I have to imagine that like the two side ones fold in and the bottom one folds down to make this little monitor box for transport.
Well, I'm sure I'll read it. So here is David's rig specs. The chassis he built himself to be able to fit through a normal door once the monitors have been swung back. So they swing back, apparently.
All right.
And so that makes sense. He said, I did this to make it easy to transport the setup to the iRace for Life event every year, as I just mentioned. His motherboard is an MSI Z77, 77 strong, M-Power LGA, let's see, 1155. I'm going to pause now, maybe. Intel P67, SATA, 6 gig, USB 3.0. That may have all been the same thing.
That is still the same. And you're still actually going to USB 3
yes.
ATX.
HEX Intel motherboard.
Okay, now stop.
Pause. Processor is Intel Core i7 2600K. And then we've got the Sandy Bridge 3.4 gigahertz LGA 1155 95 watt quad core desktop processor Intel HD CPU. Whew, that's a lot. His cooling is, of course, the Cooling Master Sidon. 240M liquid cooling. His RAM is the Corsair
Vengeance.
Vengeance 16 gig, 4 times 4 gigabyte, 240 pin DDR3 SD RAM, DDR3 1600 in parentheses PC3 12800.
Dang, David, man, you wouldn't.
This is hard to read.
Details, man. Like, there are some details in here.
Give us the specs. Desktop HD, Samsung 840 Evo, 500 gig SATA 3 internal solid state drive SSD. GPU is the EVGA ACX 2.0. Cooler Z4G-P4-293-KR. GeForce GTX 980. It is super clocked. Super clocked. I like it. Not overclocked, super clocked.
So in this case, I have a GTX 980 would have sufficed. I would have accepted super clocked as well.
Yes. And then let's see. He says it is 4 gig GDDR5. Sound is Creative Sound Blaster X-Fi Titanium 7.1 channels 7.1 24-bit 96kHz PCI Express X1 interface sound case Cooler Master 932 HAF. Let me see the picture on that one because that sounds, yeah, that's pretty similar to mine. From the looks of the pictures, I think mine may be slightly different, but that is because mine's an HAF. And then it's a full tower ATX computer case. He has a let's see, a Raid Max RX 850 watt power supply, high efficiency monitors, 3 of them. Asus, which I don't know if that's how you say that, but that's how I like to
I've always pronounced it Asus, but
Asus. Well, I actually have those as well. I don't think I have this exact brand though, or model rather, but I have that brand. VG248QE. They are 24-inch monitors, 144 hertz, and he has a AccuForce shifter wheel.
well, as I was going to say, and the fact that they're 144 hertz monitors is not just a passing point. Those are some big time monitors.
Yeah, very very good. He has. This isn't right.
This isn't right, David. You don't know what you have. Why did you write this?
He says he has Logitech G25 pedals, but that's not true. He has the back
Nope.
up. Back up.
Here we go.
I didn't
Punctuation
do
again.
pauses. I know punctuation. The wheel is an AccuForce wheel. The shifter is a Logitech G25. The pedals, now I'm on the right page, are the main performance PC sim pedals. He does not mention whether he has the hydraulic upgrade, and I think he does because I can see it underneath in the picture there. So he does. Let's see. Button box, custom made panel with spec tack, water temp and oil temp gauges. Bass kicker.
Bass kicker.
Specs would be the shaker, Clark Synthesis TST239 silver transducer. Oh my gosh, there's all kinds of transducer amps and watts and blah 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 blah. Sound stream. He's got a sound card, a Sound Blaster XFI Titanium. He has the Astro A40 headphones. He runs Windows 7 64-bit. Let's see. Graphics 3000 BX 80623 i72600K overclocked to 4.2 gigahertz. There's
Well, no, okay. So hold on. We've skipped to a second computer here, at some point in time. Like this is a whole other computer that he's doing something else with here. Did I miss this?
He is running sound apparently through all of this stuff because he's got all this stuff. Like he's got all these tech. Like if you look behind the steering wheel, I don't know how well you can see it in the picture, but he literally has an RPM gauge and a water and an oil temp gauge.
And like that's not a button box. He built a dashboard.
Yeah, and those are like those things you can actually buy. And I remember when he bought them, because I remember thinking, "Wow, that's really cool." But you know, I'm sure they're expensive. But I do remember the day that he bought them because he was talking about them in the forums on the RCRL, which is where we know David from. And I just remember being like blown away by the tax. Like that's just so cool. And he's got like literally a dashboard, like Trevor said. And he's got like switches for ignition and buttons kind of off to the side on the right side of the steering wheel there. I mean, there's just
He's even
There's
got
a lot going on.
he's even got contingency stickers on the on the side of
No.
it.
I know. He's got stickers from all over the place. He's got the old RCRL Pro Cup Series logo on there. He's got Inside Sim Racing. You know what I don't see? Not that there's one that he could have gotten, but I don't see an iRacing Day radio show sticker on there.
Oh, we don't make those, but he should
I
have.
know.
But he made this, so I'm sure he could have just
He
made
could make
one.
So yes, let's see, continuing on with where I was. He's got Toshiba 3 terabyte, 7264 MB, Kachi 6 gigabyte, 500 gigabyte, Western Digital SATA HD, 350 gigabyte Western Digital SATA HD. He's got, it just says card. I don't know what that means, but LG LT2, rather, 27WTG LCD, a butt kicker, mini LFE SimVive, tactical and AccuForce, and then he runs the software is Z1 SimWheel dashboard software, which I'm assuming comes up on that fourth monitor at the top there. And he has gauges and telemetry from that. So he's got 2 gauges, physical ones and software ones. He's never going to blow his engine ever again.
Yeah, no kidding.
He has mapping for steering wheel, buttons to keyboard, Xpatter, which is the program that I use to do micros on my button box, xpatter.com if you want to check that out. And of course, trading paints.
So there's 2 things I get out of this. Well, okay, there's 3 things I get out of this. David, man, you put a lot of time and effort into this thing.
Disclaimer. He is retired, so that gave him the time to do it.
Second thing is the fact that, man, now I really wish I was going to that conference in Texas because I want to see this thing for real.
Me too.
And the third thing I got out of this is the fact that we have shown several, really cool rigs, be it ones that people have built themselves or people put a lot of money in, and we've determined that men all think along the same lines so far, that we put a whole bunch of money into our toys, but not our garbage cans, because he's got all this high-tech stuff, and he's got a Walmart bag and a little plastic garbage can off to the side, which seems to be a very common thread here.
Yes, it does. We go to Walmart and we get our trash bags that way, right? By getting the grocery shopping bag.
Just this silver and this bling and the little plastic garbage can off to the side, and a plug which I'm sure is sitting there screaming beside it, from all of the juice this thing is pulling out, going, no more power, don't, it hurts.
Yeah, I actually have a basketball goal net trash can. Does that count as fancy?
Well,
it's like a rim at the top, and then it's a net all the way down through. It's very fancy.
That does sound fancy.
Yes, it's nice. It was not in the picture because it does not sit next to my sim rig. It sits across from it, though.
I don't actually have a garbage can by my sim rig either. I just throw stuff on the floor, and eventually, the rats come and take it away. So,
That's
it all
where your
works
rat
out.
is. Now, this steering wheel looks very comfortable. Like I'm zoomed in on the steering wheel, which I know you can't do, but it looks like it has some very nice padding around it. Like that looks very it looks like it'd be very comfortable, on those long endurance race things.
Definitely.
Now here's what I'm getting out of this. We need to invite David to do the 24 hours with us or some kind of endurance race with us next, because anybody with that kind of setup is bound to know what they're doing.
Now, I'm wondering, when we had David on the show, did we talk about his sim rig? Because if we didn't,
we did not.
We did a big disservice by not talking about this beast.
But remember, he did almost get killed on our show. So, do you remember that? The doorbell rang.
Yes, it is. I remember somebody came to the door, but then I forgot the child screaming.
Yes.
So
yeah, that is this is always like David. I've known David for several years now through the RCRL, and he's always posted pictures in the forums there about when he had some kind of upgrade or added something on to it. And seriously, like this for the long time, now mine's obviously not quite like this, but this was inspiration for me. I was like, I want that. So, thanks, David. You made me spend a lot of money.
And it's still not that. You know.
Nope, not even close.
But the fact that it's completely and totally just transportable too is really neat. You know, it's like, all right,
yeah.
well, you know, just put it on the back of the hauler and take it to the next track. You know.
Yeah, so I'm like what you said earlier. I would love to go to the thing in Texas so I can try it out because it does look really cool. So if you happen to go to the iRace for Life seminar, go say, hey, I saw this on the IRTRS show. I want to try it.
I don't know if he'll let you do that, but you could say that. And if he says no, then don't mention our show. Don't tell him that we told you that you could ride in his rig. That's not what we said. Yeah, we didn't say that.
Yeah.
So from David, if my buttons will work correctly, let us move on to Mr. Dean Mall. And we start off with what looks like also a very comfortable racing wheel.
Yeah.
Very first
That
picture.
is actually
it's like,
one of those
wheel.
yeah, I know. That's one of those Max Pappas wheels.
Is it?
Yes.
Is that why it says MP in the middle?
Yes.
All right. So Dean, as we've spoken about on the show a bunch of times, obviously, he says, here is my iRacing setup. His PC is an Intel i7 4790K on an MSI Z97 motherboard, MSI GTX 970s graphics card, 16 gigabytes of RAM, a 128 gigabyte SSD, Sound Blaster Z, and his controls are an AccuForce wheelbase with a Momo Mod 26 with Martin Asher paddles for road. I'm trying to look and see the paddles. I don't see them in there. MPI DO 14A for oval. Like I'm supposed to know what those letters mean, but he has a different shifter for oval and road, which is the important takeaway there. I will flip through some pictures here in a second. ProtoSim Tech PT1 pedals, Thrustmaster TH8A shifter. How many shifters does he have on this thing? Dean, how many times do you have to shift gears? Oh, wait, I'm sorry. It was a different wheel for road and a different... Somehow that's worse.
Well, actually, but like if you look at the wheel, the first wheel that you have there, the MPI one, you know, that's his oval wheel. And then he...
does he have a picture of his other wheel there?
He does not.
Okay.
He only has the MPI. Sorry.
Okay. But yeah, no, I saw the shifters there.
But
okay.
It is, from what I can tell, that could be it sitting on the side. Kind of looks like it on the side of picture 3. But I can't tell. Off to the left. It might be it laying upside down.
Oh, well, actually on picture 2, it looks like it's sitting on top of his computer.
Yeah, which is what I'm looking at in picture 3. Yep, that's it. Looks like. Looks like, but can't tell.
I see. But anyway, so he has two different wheels, one for road, one for oval, which that amazes me. ProtoSim Tech PT1 pedals, Thrustmaster T4, I know I went through here, T4A 8A shifter, a Derek Spear design button box, which you can see there off to the right behind his wheel. The MS or M-Spec shift light. Here's the I flag, which you can see off to the left behind his wheel there. Alienware Tact X keyboard and mouse. Sennheiser Game Zero headset. His cockpit is a home-built MDF with APC, so he has an armored personnel carrier with an APC seat, 3 Dell SW2309 monitors, Ergotech triple stand, planned future upgrades. The Oculus consumer version 1 4-play 8010 cockpit. I'm not familiar with the 4-play. He says he originally owned a playseat and recreated position with MDF for stability. Wiring is a mess. Another common thread. This one, and you can see like he just has the pedals just mounted to a piece of MDF there down below. shuts computer off there with the extra wheel. Switching out wheels for oval, like that blows me out. I think that's the first time I've seen that in any of these rigs. And there's a better overview of the whole rig. Do I have 3 or 4 pictures for Dean? I got 4. Okay.
You have 4, yeah.
Yeah. So in this picture here, in picture 3, you can kind of get an overview of the 3 monitors and then the monitor up top with all the extra stuff, which just seems to be mounted into the wall.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. He's got it mounted into the wall. That's really cool.
And then there's the shifter off to the right, and
Now, I would like to say that Dean's a copycat.
Oh.
Over here on the right, far right side of picture 3, he has what looks like the side of a Camping World Truck Series truck, a real part of the door. Well, I have one of Parker Kligerman's, number 77, one of the sides of his door when he was running the Nationwide Series for KBM. So, like, way to copy me, Dean.
I'm sure that
Took
that was exactly what he was trying to do, I think.
It was. It was. I just know it. But yeah, that's I like all the you got this big setup, everything's all high tech, and then it's like, well, I don't know, the walls aren't finished, so it's just, I hope I don't touch that so I don't get all itchy.
It's like you're sitting there in a 24-hour race, and all of a sudden Dean's, leans over and, rubs the fiberglass insulation across his face, and it's like, well, I got to get out of the car, But yeah, I mean, like that is, that is a prime example of do-it-yourself sim things. It's just basically, it's a piece of MDF for his pedals to sit on. It's, a little box for his seat to sit on, and then a desk with extra stuff around it. Like, that's pretty cool.
Now, in picture 3, he still has the side of his computer off. So does he leave it off?
Well, I don't know. It'd be filled with fiberglass if he left it like that. I mean, the fans be sucking in all that insulation.
I know,
So
that's what I'm saying.
If Dean ever jumps out and says, "Man, I don't know, my computer just crapped out," well, I think we might have an idea.
We're gonna, have you checked the insulation?
There's a big chunk missing, right? Because if you look in that picture, if you kind of look above his right side monitor, there's a piece that looks like it's just kind of starting to fall off. So that falls off and kind of moves its way over, and intake fan,
I don't know what happened. It just stopped. I think we know why. Yeah, that's really cool. Like the picture, the 4th picture where he's kind of sitting in his seat, looking at it. I like that monitor. The way he's got it bolted to the wall there. That 4th monitor there. That's a great position for that.
See, now, if you want it for realism, then you should just have that monitor just showing the skybox. It's just kind of well, if I look up, oh yeah, look at the clouds. Oh, there goes the iRacing blimp.
Yeah.
Because real race drivers don't have all their gauges sitting there nice and pretty so that they can see everything. I mean,
Yeah.
But yeah, actually, that's a great view that he put there, where you can kind of get a really good idea of what it's like just to kind of sit down inside of it and see everything. So, but
yeah,
and it's like it's just amazing me how cool some of these rigs are. Like, people have just all these different ideas of from partly custom made to fully custom made to something like Me and You, where it's just a bot solution with extra stuff tacked on, or this is you guys have got some really cool ideas. Like, this is awesome. I'm so glad Chad came up with this idea, because you guys have sent us some really cool stuff.
Very cool. So next one is Doug Roth.
Whoa.
Who really looks like he's in a spaceship.
I was going to say, who unfortunately smashed all of his monitors before taking this picture, because it looks like all of those monitors are broken with the screensaver he's got going on them, or background, or whatever it is.
Not the case, but he does say, "Hey guys, thought I would share my rig for the now being played Sim Rig Show." He didn't actually say that, he just said upcoming. Here are the specs. 2nd gen Obutta Ozone. Cockpit with SimVive software with a 4 butt kicker LFE SE, which, by the way, while we're mentioning butt kicker, is that not the coolest name ever for something like butt kicker?
Well, and what does it do?
It gives you a butt kick.
Yes,
No.
it is not only a cool name; it is an accurate name because it doesn't use
Yes.
like the big subwoofers underneath you and basically
Yes.
is pushing
It
sound into your butt.
Yeah, kind of vibrates the whole house. Um, it is a, butt kicker transducers pushed by an EMOTIVA UPA-500 amp. So he's really getting butt kicked.
A 500 amp, man. I hope he has seatbelts on that thing.
I hope that window in the background there is protected. He has the main performance PC with the hydraulic upgrade. Sim pedals, yay! So what's that? 4 people now with the sim pedals. So, sweet. He has a DSD Track Boss button box, which I believe, at least in the past, was one of their top ones from Derek Spear. He has the G27 wheel triple screens, as you can tell. All 3 are 27-inch, 144 hertz. With G-Sync, ASU, I don't know how you're supposed to say that, but it is ROG, I guess, ROG, PG278Q, that is the model number. And he has an Intel i7-950 CPU, upgrading next week, which this was several weeks ago, so I'm imagining he's done this now, to an i5-6600K. 980 Ti NVIDIA GPU LED. Caution lights.
Okay, stop. And
Oh,
a
okay,
980 Ti NVIDIA GPU, stop. Also, that is a kick butt freaking video card. Like, that is basically top of the line right now. Okay. Now LED caution lights.
Commas, they save lives. LED caution lights, where are those in the picture?
I believe it's to the left of his top monitor, like the extra monitor on top. I think that's unless that's a speaker. I don't know. Like I wonder if that's his caution light thing.
Oh, yeah.
No, actually,
It's-
I don't know, because he's got something similar down below. So those are probably speakers. It's kind of hard to tell. But somewhere's there, a light will flash bright yellow if he's under caution and blind him, I hope.
Yeah, so LED caution lights, but it is not iFlag, but it's something similar. His additional software includes Z1 dashboard, XPatter, and he then goes on to something we talked about last week. So that is Mr. Doug's rig.
All right.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out where
It's going to bug you.
it is. It's going to bug me to death.
And I just messed up the stream slightly, but I fixed it, so it's okay. All of a sudden it decided to make a double click instead of a single click. Moving along, we have Mr. I'm sorry, did you say not moving along?
No, I was... No, just go.
Okay. It's Eric Molinex and his rig. We have a picture there of his pedals. Let's see. Here we go. My rig is nothing pretty to look at. Well, he didn't say it's not special. He just says it's not pretty to look at. So, fair enough. Although it looks like in that pedal area, you can see it's he's had some good use out of it, because it looks like his heels have been sitting there for many a race.
Yeah.
He says, but it serves its purpose well. The thing I'm most proud of is that it was piecemealed together relatively inexpensively. While I'd love the latest and greatest, this was out of necessity, as being a family man with a 6-month-old. Even iRacing content requires planning to purchase. Well, I'm right with you on that one, Eric. I have to plan all my gaming purchases. He says, the G27 wheel and pedals I got off of Craigslist locally and did not get murdered, because I'm sure... That's my understanding, that Craigslist is a good way to get murdered. But apparently he did not, because he got his wheel. The rig itself is a Ricmotech. Man, we are behind the times. That's the third person who's mentioned that.
Ricmotech.
I have not.
I have heard of it, but I am not all too familiar with it.
So the rig itself is a Ricmotech RS1 design. I bought the templates from their website, cut it out, and put it together myself. That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, those are still the templates glued on that I have not pulled and sanded off yet. I'm actually trying to look through the pictures here. Oh, there we go. Yep. Those are the templates right there. Cool. They said the seat is a rear bucket seat from my dad's 1986 Toyota van. Sentimental, since he has passed. Oh, that's pretty cool. So his dad gets to be part of his sim racing rig. And I believe it was the seat I sat in as a kid. Both seats were taken up previously, but looking at the features, I believe this is the one I sat in. You know, this is the one. This is the one that I spilled the Coke on. This is the one I poked with the pen. Yeah. The computer is self-built, originally an Intel Core 2 Duo processor. I work in IT and scored an Intel i5 chip from a dead machine with permission. Just to be full disclosure, I was allowed. Bought a motherboard.
Do not come and kill me.
Bought a motherboard and RAM for it. Got an SSD during Amazon's Better Than Black Friday sale in July, and bought an R9 380 4GB video card during Black Friday sales. Headset is a Logitech G230. The monitor is one of 3 22-inch HP monitors that I scored with permission. He's very clear on this. Eric did not steal any of these pieces, just to be perfectly clear.
Yes.
With permission from an office location, my company closed last year, and I have the design plans for the Ritmotech RS3 triple monitor mount that I will build once the weather warms up and I can stand to do woodworking outside on a Saturday afternoon. Future plans also include a button box and eventually bass transducers to rattle my butt around. Some may laugh at my setup, or the word that or the fact that I just put "rattle my butt around" in a sentence. But I'm pretty proud that I went from just an old home-built PC sitting at my dining room table with G27 and pedals, sliding around to a comfortable and capable racing simulator setup, and didn't have to max out credit cards to do it. A few items were charged, but not much, and I'm sure he had his wife's permission. It's not much to look at, but no one is looking at it but me. And it's dark when I'm racing, so no one is looking. So yeah, I mean, again, another custom with with some design help, and the cool bit of this it being sentimental, where he actually has his childhood chair basically sitting there that he can race on. And I really like the way the gear shifter mount off to the right hand side there, where it just kind of sits in its own little cradle, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's like it was made for it.
Well, I'm sure it was, or at least something similar to it.
Yeah.
It's got the keyboard back up there. I mean, that would be hard to, if you were actually doing any other gaming and stuff. But if you got to reach a couple of commands up there every now and again. But actually, looking back through. And he's even got a little headset hook off to the side of it, which is something I could desperately use on my setup for sure. And of course, he has what appears to be a cot beside him for, of course, 24-hour racing. When you need to just take a break and say, all right,
and go to bed.
Yep. It's like, all right, stint's done, flop, sleep.
Alarm. Okay, back in sim rig.
Just roll over, just roll into the rig.
Yeah. Yeah, that does look like a very comfortable seat, though.
It does. I mean, it's probably more comfortable than the, half-inch of foam padding you got underneath your butt. I'm sure.
I'm sure that he enjoys his races much more than I do, from a sitting position.
And I like the way that he's actually got the inverted pedals basically just bolted in there on the onto the wood of the MDF. So.
Yeah, definitely good to have your pedals locked in.
Yeah. Mine's still, I mean, like even on my my Oboto setup, and it's got the little traction thing, but they're not bolted onto that tray. So they, every now and again, I have to kind of pick them up and move them just a little bit. They don't move much, but they move enough that it's like, your muscle memory says this is wrong.
Yeah. Now, see, before I got my main PC pedals, I actually did bolt down the G27, not G27, but the Club Sport pedals that I had. I actually did bolt those down. I knew somebody that could bolt through that pedal tray, and I measured it all out, and he bolted the holes through there, and then I screwed it all down. Because I do not like my stuff moving.
Yeah, I should probably come up with a solution, but I'm fine with it. It doesn't move enough to bother me. So it's not like it really moves during races and stuff. It's only if it's sitting there and my daughter comes and sits at my computer and just kind of kicks at it, or I'm playing something else, it'll kind of adjust and stuff. But yeah, that is a pretty cool little rig that you got there built there. And like I said, with the templates, apparently it's like, all right, build it like this and put it together. Like I didn't realize that. All that makes sense, that people would sell templates and stuff like that, so you could actually just, you know, cut this wood to this size and bolt it in here, and away you go.
Yeah.
So that is pretty cool. So definitely thanks for sharing, Eric. And that's a pretty cool story about that seat. I like that. That is really
that's
cool.
a very good story.
So moving on.
Now, here's the thing. The next person is Jason Palmer. Now, he has 7 pictures, and I want you to remain on the first one.
I am on the first one, and I am not leaving here until you tell me otherwise.
Until I read what this is, because you guys are going to love. And I want the first picture to sit up here, because it's like, what's going on here? You know, we're just looking at a door. Let me read. Hi, Trevor. Hi, Chad. Finally got around to taking some photos of my home-built rig. I was not sure at first, as I knew it may tip Trevor over the edge once he sees just how little room you need to set up a triple screen rig in. Hence, door.
Yeah, well, and that comes from the fact that, I'm basically rearranging the way my office is set up, because where my rig is set up now will not accommodate triple screens when I get them.
Yes.
So,
yes. My rig was built into the cupboard under the stairs. Please flip to picture 2.
Flipping to picture 2.
Look at this. It all fits under the stairs. He says, and I had a depth of 130 centimeters, and that's a width of just 90 centimeters. Not sure what that would be in other forms. But anyways, I have managed to fit a triple screen setup in there along with a full-size PC. And the usual, added extras such as a button box, and thanks to Chad, yay, I got mentioned, and iFlag little setup. Now, please go to number 3.
Number 3.
Picture. Yes. Look at this. He just pulls it right out. It's like the perfect setup.
It's like something that just pops out. Like you just kind of open the door, and I can imagine like he doesn't even pull it out. Like he just opens the door, and this just thing goes splung.
That would be really cool. He says, and once the door is shut, the wife becomes happy because the front room is unspoiled by a ginormous sim rig. Because, on picture 1, it no there. He says that the main base holding the seat, pedals, and the shifter was built using 20 mm square steel tubing and is so far holding up very well. The mount for the wheelbase is made of a larger section of metal tube and has been mounted via rubber mounts to help absorb the rumble from the force feedback, which is smart.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, go ahead and go to picture 4. He says to the underside of the stairs, so that kind of helps not, take all the rumble upstairs. The hardest part of the build was making up a framework to support the freestanding monitors, and this took a fair bit of thinking about until I made a temporary frame with the dimensions of the cupboard and then used that to pre-build the triple screen mounting system, which I then transferred as a whole into the cupboard and fixed in place to the side walls. I hope this rig shows that there is always a small enough corner or cupboard in which to build a sim rig. Thanks for the great show. I've been with you since your solo days, Trevor, and please keep up the shows as long as possible.
All right, now on picture 4 here.
Mm-hmm.
Up at the top, above the middle monitor, that appears to be his keyboard.
Keyboard.
How do you type like that?
I don't know. I hope he has long arms.
Or maybe it comes down. Maybe that's on a. Well, actually, I haven't got to all the pictures yet. Maybe it moves. I don't know.
I don't know if it does.
Okay, it actually has some pictures here of it all kind of out and disattached as well. So
yeah, which is where the shifter and the pedals and everything slides out. So unfortunately, that does not shoo-bing right out as he opens the door, and he has to pull it.
I'm disappointed.
But yeah, I know. Where were you on that one, Jason? But like, I just am blown away by this one because of where it's at. Like, that's just really smart thinking. Because, and the part where he says, the wife is happy because, it gets hidden. But then it's like, your friends are over and you say, hey, I've got this iRacing set up. And everybody's like, where is it? And it's like, oh, I don't know. Door open.
It's underneath the stairs. Yeah.
I mean, that's Intuitive thinking.
It's in the place that a kid might go in and use as a hiding place for in hide and seek and barely fit. Yet he has a triple monitor set up in there.
Did you see what Roby said in the chat?
I did not.
He says the Hallelujah courses should be played when he opens the door.
Or you should just play Ode to Joy as he opens. Da, 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 da.
Oh man.
But
That's pretty smart thinking there, Mr. Jason.
that is pretty cool. I like that shifter, man. That thing looks beefy.
Yeah, it does. That would be very easy to handle.
But that is I still want to know how he types, Jason. when you watch the show, tell us how you type, or does that like pop down, or is it like Velcro to the ceiling and you just kind of schlunk and put it in your lap, kind of thing? And that's did he mention the? Doesn't actually mention the button box itself, because that's a pretty cool looking. I don't know if that's one of Derek Spears off to the side there or not.
He did. He didn't talk specifically about it. That is a Derek Spears design. I can tell because the logo is on the big bright orange thing in the center there.
I couldn't see that from my.
Yeah, well, I'm zoomed like way in. So it's probably one of his more basic button boxes. But yeah, that's a DSD box.
That's pretty cool looking.
Fanatic wheel got kind of a similar setup as I can't remember who it was now earlier, but has the screen kind of in the center of the steering wheel there, so that he gets all his lap time information. And I like the location of his iFlag as well, over there on the left.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you sit there and you've got everything, and and you're in a closet. I mean,
yeah. That's the thing. That's really cool.
In case, I mean, I'm thinking that it probably wouldn't miss. It wouldn't pass by safety regulations. Because in case of needing to get out quick, if the car catches on fire, your path of egress is probably impeded.
On the 7th picture, it looks as though, and maybe he mentioned this, but it looks like he's like really gone. Is that toilet paper or paper towels in the 7th picture? I mean, when you gotta go, you gotta go.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, well, because this is with the seat and stuff pulled out.
Yeah, this is everything pulled out. But I'm kind of looking into the cave. I don't know.
I'm looking into the maw of madness here. Although
it's just like a roll of paper towels there or something.
Well, he doesn't have his crappy little garbage can because he doesn't have enough space for it. So that is, from now on, all sim rigs have to come with a picture of your crappy little garbage can that we all know you have there.
Yes.
And also, I'm going to have to take away points, Jason. This is all intuitive and great. However, you have a picture of your car as your wallpaper, and I do not see the iRacing Today radio show logo on it, so you're disqualified. I didn't think we were having a competition, but
I was like, what is he disqualified from? Yeah, I'm zoomed in way here. I don't see it on this side of the car. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. It's one of the coolest rigs we've seen, but
yeah, no IRTRS logo. Disappointed.
All right, but that is
he says Harry Potter's sim racing.
We had to do something all those times underneath the stairs, locked up in there, man.
Yeah. So the next one.
Moving on, we have Mr. Jeff McPherson, of course,
who is joined by the cat as well.
Wow, I didn't even see it at first. I thought it was a button box or something glowing at me.
Nope, it is a cat. So, next time that you're racing with Jeff McPherson and he suddenly swerves and wipes you out, it is his cat's fault.
Wow, like only one eye just glow. I mean, obviously that's the way the camera works, but man, I did not even see that at first.
Yeah, well, in the second picture, it doesn't glow at all, so.
Oh, well, you can turn it on and off. Cats can do that.
Yeah, they can.
But, anyway, Jeff says...
There's a receipt for something right by the cat's head.
That's the receipt for the cat. Dude,
Jeff, you got to clean up the desk space here, man.
Well, I'm sure the cat, as a cat owner myself, I know that probably a lot of those papers and stuff were probably slightly organized, and then the cat came and rubbed against them and pushed them around. Like if you look off the printer off to the right, they didn't come out of the printer that way. The cat made them that way. They came out straight. The cat was all like, "Hey, what's this?" Yeah.
Oh, okay, read.
Jeff says, "Here's the spec for my PC that I bought in August. It runs iRacing with everything turned up to the max at 120 frames per second. Also, the SSD lets the sim load within seconds rather than minutes, unless it's, Nürburgring." He says, "I use a single 24-inch AOC monitor. I use a DFGT wheel with G27 pedals with a Bodnar USB cable," which is basically what I was running until I got the G29. I also have a 7-inch Android tablet that runs Fast Dash for iRacing. I don't think I've heard of that before.
Yeah, that's another one of those. They can get like in app stores and stuff.
Cool. I have used Windows.
Got a lot of info.
Yeah.
It's got fuel per lap, water temp, oil pressure, lap times, previous lap times, position. It's got all kinds of stuff on there. Sorry, I was just zoomed in.
Yeah, I was actually just looking at the second picture as well to see if that was zoomed in, but it's still just
now,
the cat.
Another thing, another thing that I'm seeing is his computer has got some lights going on down there, and it looks like it might be showing like temperature and stuff, kind of like what we saw earlier.
Yep.
On another PC. So that's interesting they're doing that now. I didn't know they did that.
Well, I mean, if you're going to overclock stuff, you need to keep a track of temperatures and stuff, man.
Yeah.
So, meanwhile, getting into Specville here, because he's got some pretty cool specs, and commas I think I see here as well, so good job, Jeff.
Yeah. Save lives.
He said, "I've used Windows 10 since I bought this PC with no problems. My cat, named Tiger, has chosen to sleep in front of the monitor." As you can see, well, he's not sleeping. He's looking at me. He's looking in my soul.
I think he's a demon.
The case is a Cooler Master CM693 green. The processor is an Intel Core i7. Man, he's even got like the TM in there and everything. He went, and the registered trademarks. He went all out with these specs.
Yeah.
An Intel i7 quad-core processor, i7 4790K, running at 4 gigahertz, 8 megabytes cache motherboard on an Asus Z97 Pro Gamer, which I believe is the motherboard I have. I think mine's a Z45, I think, but same brand. Or anyway, which is it's an ATX form, USB 3, SATA 6 gigabyte per second, which is SATA 3. Xfire memory, RAM. Okay. Anyway, he's got 16 gigs of Kingston memory in there, DDR3. He's got a graphics. Okay, man. I gave up on the comments. He's got a 4 gigabyte NVIDIA GeForce GTX 960 card in there. He's got a second graphics card. None. Okay, I was gonna say second graphics card. What is it? None. Oh, thanks, Jeff. He's got 120 gigabyte SSD hard drive in there, and he's got a second hard drive for storage, which is a 2 terabyte SATA 3, running at 7,200 RPMs, of course. Now this is, I complimented the commas, but this is written challenging. Let's see. I think he just copied this off of the website he bought this from. Yeah. He's got a 550 watt power supply in there. Cooler Master Hyper 212 Evo 120 millimeter fan for cooling, which is actually that's what I have in my processor as well. He's even listed the thermal paste that he has on there. That's a bit much, Jeff. TMI, man. TMI. I don't need to know what sort of thermal paste you put between your CPU and your Cooler Master Hyper 212 cooling fan, sir. Did any of this talk? Okay, I say, did any of this actually talk about what he uses for his? Okay, there's his wheel. Okay, he did actually start out with that. Okay, that's good.
Yes.
Let's see, and he's using his onboard sound, which a lot of people do, although a lot of people actually had sound cards, which I found surprising as well. Because you don't really, nowadays, you don't kind of need it, but, you know, it can be helpful. I have, I'm just running my onboard stuff. My motherboard has a pretty good one in there. So, you talk about your setups where, you know, you have your fancy setups, and then you have your, I attach my wheel to my desk setup, which is what Jeff's got going on here. And does not apparently close the door. See, I have 3 cats. I close my office is closed. The cats can't come in here because they totally do that.
I was going to say the cat was included in the kit.
I don't see the specs on your cat, Jeff.
Yeah, it's black. His name is Tiger. It stares into your soul.
As Roby would, I flag cat. See, it's the green flag is out right now, as you can tell by the cat's eyeball.
There you go. Yeah.
I would love to see the you know, the blue flag with the yellow stripe across it. I don't know how that shows up in the eyeball, but
That would be weird.
But yeah, see, like we said at the beginning, you know, it's such a diversity of you know, setups, from people who have built them to people who have bought them to people who just, you know, as I had before I bought my Obuto, it just, I don't know, here's a desk, you know, that I just attached my wheel to, and I had a roller, I don't think he shows his chair here, but I had a rolling desk chair. Oh yeah, there it is.
Yeah, in the second picture.
But yeah, mine had wheels, so I mean, you know, you start braking hard, and all of a sudden you're just holding onto the wheel to keep you, you know, from rolling away from your rig. So, and
loving the purple curtains.
Yes.
Nice touch.
They're not as good as the, you know, baby blue ones from earlier, but they are nice. Yeah,
they're nice. So, Jeff Whoopker.
Yes, there we are. Okay. I lost my place. All right,
but you found it.
There we go. There's Jeff.
He says, "Don't feel alone, Trevor, as I also run a single monitor, as you can see in the picture." He says, "I made do just using my media desk to mount my wheel and monitor. Actually, it is a 42-inch TV. So that really doesn't look like a 42-inch TV.
Dang.
That thing is huge. If it...
Well, we know what a 42-inch TV looks like now, because
it's like Danny. But he says, actually, just kidding. I now have the ability to upgrade to triple monitors with his 970 gaming card and i7-6700 processor. I should have them in the near future. My chair is a Pro Car race seat, and I love it." Can't really see it, though, in the picture. He says, "For the price, it was well worth it. I just simply built a box and mounted my seat to it. Works fine." Excuse me. "I have the Fanatec or whatever you're supposed to call it."
Yeah, you could, like, I always pronounce it Fanatec.
See, I've always said Fanatec, but Fanatec looks more like what it should be. But he has the V1 Club Sport pedals and the GT3 RS wheel. "I definitely need an upgrade here," he says. "I was looking at the new Club Sport wheel bases, but man, they are not cheap. And no, they are not. They're like $1,000 when you add it all up together. So I'm thinking of going with a Thrustmaster. I hear the 599 rim is nice. P.S. I think triple monitors will help us to see the apexes much better. And I believe it can."
Oh man, I can't wait to get triple monitors for that. Just for that, from all my road racing stuff, man. Not being able to see some of those apexes is killing me.
So, as you see, he is on pit road at what looks like to be Road America and in the IndyCar. So he's a big IndyCar fan, apparently.
Yay!
Yay, IndyCar! And that's the only picture that he provided.
All right. So
now, the next picture. Have you put it up yet?
I am moving from Jeff to Jen's now.
Okay. Now, you know, earlier Chris Brown had a bunch of blue lighting going on.
Mood
Look
lighting.
At the yellow.
You know, you gotta have some mood lighting there. Like that's what it is, because he's actually lighting up the wall behind him.
Yeah. Now I wonder if he can change between daytime and nighttime to add in the effect.
a little dial on it, which just kind of like fades it out.
Like, okay,
You know,
I'm doing a night race at Bristol, so we'll just go tonight on the
that's
mall.
actually not that crazy when you think
Yeah,
about
I
it.
know. Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
Well, let's see what Jens has in here. Jens Nixdorf is our current sim. The rig is a GT Omega Art Simulator cockpit, including monitor stand. Another company I've never heard of as well. Wheel pedals and button boxes. Yes, you have them. Okay, wait. That was the introduction. Wow, actually, I'm looking at the button boxes he's got there now. But anyway, he's got a Fanatec Club Sport V2 wheelbase and GT style Club Sport steering wheel. He's got 2 Derek Spear design button boxes for the Fanatec.
Whoa, whoa, whoa!
wait.
Getting a little fancy here. Got 2 button boxes. Yeah.
For the Fanatec CSW left and right. So he's got man, that's a lot. How many buttons do you need? I mean, like I'm almost like with my
Well,
G29, I've almost got enough buttons. Almost.
have you driven the Formula One car?
Fair enough.
Yep.
I have not. Well, I have, but not.
Because I'm probably gonna need another one.
All right. He's got the Fanatec CSR Elite pedals with inverted braking pedal. He's got the brake pedal in the inverted setup and the gas pedal in the normal, well, or at least the non-inverted setup. Let's see. PC config, a 4th generation Intel Core i7 4790K, which seems to be a common one that people have been using. 16 gigs of RAM. This week, and of course, we sent this to us a little while ago. This week, I will upgrade from a NVIDIA GTX 760 Ti with 2 gigs of RAM to a Asus Strix, which is the brand that I got for my card, except for he's going to get the GTX 980 Ti with 6 gigs of RAM, which is basically, like I said, that's pretty much top of the line right now, is the 980 Ti. The view configuration is a LG ultra-wide curved 34-inch monitor running at 3440 by 1440 pixels. That's a weird resolution, but then again, it is an ultra-wide monitor, so that makes sense. The monitor will be replaced by the
It
Oculus.
looks good though.
It does.
Like if you go to the second picture, you get a nice screen of it, and it looks really nice.
Ooh,
It's
wow.
almost like it's curved in a way.
It is curved. Did you not hear me say LG ultra-wide curved 34-inch
I
monitor?
didn't hear that. Sorry.
It is totally
Don't yell at
curved.
me. Don't yell at me.
Don't yell at me. I'm here voluntarily. You don't pay me.
I
But yeah, the
didn't
image
hear that,
the
sorry.
image quality on that actually looks like super
Yeah, it
sharp.
looks really nice.
So no triples, but the curved display and ultra wide. So I bet you that gives you a lot more, of a view of the side.
Now, I would like to point out, in number 2, if you look at the relative, he is currently in 63rd position. Like, what are you doing?
Well, he hasn't gone out yet. He's just taking a picture of his monitor.
But there's so many people.
Well, he's at Sebring, obviously.
I know.
So
and
maybe
that's probably they doubled up the pit stall thing.
see,
It's just funny to look at 63rd. And then
you
right
pick out the
below him-
weirdest details.
I know. The guy below him is in 4th.
But and you actually see the from this point of view, you can see kind of that nice orange hue that he has from putting
Yeah.
that light against the wall. It actually looks kind of sharp.
Yeah,
Like
it does.
it's lighting it up, but it's not bright to distract from things. So
Yeah.
I bet you that was a calculated
Decision.
decision. Yeah, as far as lighting goes.
Yeah, as Danny says in the chat, 3 of those curved monitors would look really nice. I
Yeah, no
bet.
kidding. Yeah, curve rate. You'd just be enclosed at that point in time.
Yeah, I know.
He says the monitor will be replaced by the Oculus Rift consumer version when it arrives in May. So obviously he's one of the people who pre-ordered. So he'll be getting that in May. The audio config is a SteelSeries wireless surround gaming headset. Which I thought about. That was one of the ones that was on my list when I got my new gaming headset, but I didn't go with that one. I think price was the reasoning I didn't go with the wireless version because, man, I get tangled in this cord like you would not believe. Additional configuration, he has the iFlag, which you can see on the upper section of the monitor there. Race Marshalling Light Board, in quotes, apparently it has an official name. Hardware as recommended in the forum thread, which we pointed him to. Or he might have found on his own. But I'm going to take credit. SimVibe setup. One base shaker under the plate where my pedals are mounted, controlled by a 100 watt amplifier, one butt kicker under my seat. Now, 100-watt amplifier. Now, see, now that seems more reasonable than Mr. 500 watts earlier. That needs seat belts to stay in his seat, you know, because it tries to shake him out of it. But I'm going to go, just going back to that first picture there. And it's cool, too, because like a lot of these pictures you see, they're just kind of off to the, like they're off on their own. You know what I mean? Like it's just kind of like off in a corner. Here's where I do my iRacing thing. Like it's like here's my corner of shame. You know, where here's where I do all my stuff off to the side. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. So you've got a protective rug under there as well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, on a hardwood floor, I'd imagine, especially with a butt kicker, that would probably be loud as heck. You know?
Oh yeah.
Brrr, there's the floor just shaking around and.
Was that an earthquake? I don't know.
No, just hit the rumble strips. Yeah.
Yeah. Racing Sebring just kind of got over there on the rumble strips a little too much. Sorry about that.
Yeah. As
iRacing Outcast, as Danny said.
Yeah, as Danny put hashtag iRacing Outcast, now trending. John Hensey. Yep. John Hensey will get that one. You won't.
Yeah, he will.
But anyway, moving along. Man, this is... yeah, we weren't kidding. This is going to be longer than... See, this is why we didn't put it into the normal show, people, because you guys did an awesome job of sending all this stuff in, and we got a lot to talk about, so we did not want to... include this in our normal show.
Next one.
Moving right along. We've got Huso Hatali.
Yes, I believe that's how you say that. So Huso has the Alberta Revolution. I believe that's the second time we've seen somebody have that. He has triple 27-inch de-bezeled. Now, I really thought when I read his specs on this that was kind of cool. For those of you that don't know, the plastic casing that goes around your monitor is what they call the bezel part. And that comes into your calculations, by the way, when you're doing your field of view set up for triple screens. In iRacing, they ask you to measure the bezel and without the bezel and all that stuff. So he was just like, I don't want bezel. So he de-bezeled it. So he literally took all of that plastic, which would help, in the way that you line up your monitors, I would think, a little bit. It'd make them a little bit closer.
Yep.
So that was probably smart thinking on his part, and maybe the rest of us should look into that. But he has 144 hertz. BenQ. I'm assuming that's the brand, but I can't tell because he took off the plastic casing. Screens in surround. He has 24-inch 60 hertz BenQ screen from my old setup for Joel's real timing and scoring, which is the one kind of hanging off to the right, below the right monitor there. And that we mentioned that Joel's real timing and scoring, and then he puts other stuff as well. We mentioned that before in the show. Logitech G27 wheel and shifter. I'm assuming standard because he didn't talk about any upgrades. Has the Fanatec/Fanatic whatever. Club Sport V3 pedals, which are the ones that just came out recently. His computer specs are Intel 3570K overclocked to 4 GHz, 16 gigs of DDR3 RAM, NVIDIA 970 GTX, two SSDs, one for Windows and then one for games.
Dang, I wish.
Yeah, pretty good setup there.
Although I have one SSD, which is basically just my operating systems, but the only game that I have mounted on the SSD is also iRacing. So I figured if I needed something to load quicker, then it was going to be my iRacing.
1 terabyte HDD for storage. His planned upgrades in the future will be most likely upgraded to Fanatec/Fanatic. Club Sport Wheelbase V1. Probably getting a used one for cheap/free from my workplace with GT2 and F1 rims.
With permission.
Yeah.
That has to be the common thing now.
Yep, it is. So he also has a fan. That's one of the... I don't recall anybody else having a fan off to the side. I mean, not that they don't, but like in their picture. Mm-hmm. So he's got a fan off to the left there. And the second picture is a little bit more of a dead-on angle. You can kind of see the pedals a little bit better, and you can see that Joe real timing and scoring. Like I love the way that he has that where he's got the Joe real timing and other stuff, as he
Hmm.
put. I love the way that that monitor is angled. That's a great place for that.
Yep. Yeah, I mean it's right there in your field of view, so you can just easily just kind of glance down at it. It's not in the way. Like that's pretty smart.
Yeah, come make mine like that.
Yeah, make it all fit proper.
Yeah.
Um,
So
but
yeah,
yeah,
that's a very nice, clean. It doesn't seem to have a clutter of wiring, so that looks very nice and clutter free.
yeah, that was actually the first thing, the word that popped in my head too. Is it's just a nice clean setup, and it's not in a corner. So I mean that's
Yeah,
there's that too. Yeah.
you don't sit in timeout.
So thank you, Huso, for, and please tell me
Thanks.
if I'm saying your name right. I think you said once that I was, so but then I forgot what I said when you said that I was. Uh,
Well, regardless, Hatella sounds really cool. So
Indeed.
Hatella. Yes.
So I know we've been going back and forth, but the way things worked out, I would be the one to read through the next
Yes.
entry. But I'm going to get you to do that so I can be
Yep.
director.
Yes. Marco Torres has sent in lots of pictures because he has a very cool setup that he races in. And it's, when I say setup, I don't mean necessarily the sim rig, I mean the room.
The everything.
Yeah. So, real quickly, I'll go through the specs. He says he has an i5 4460 CPU at 3.2 gigahertz, 16 gigs of RAM. GTX 970. Boy, a lot of GTX 970s going around now.
Yep.
He has three 32-inch screens, so this is kind of like Danny 1.0 in the future. Eventually, it'll be 42 for Danny. He has a Sharp, I'm assuming that's a TV brand. He says, I built me own metal rig. I use an old rocker gamer chair from years ago, comma, I'm assuming, Thrustmaster TX with F1 rim, and the Alcantara Will Pedal Fanatec Elites with inverted kit. Fourth monitor for dual rail timing. Hey, we got two people using that. And he says iPhone. I wonder. Let's see. Let me look at the picture here.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking. I'm kind of glancing through them
Sure.
now to get a good view here.
I was trying to see if he was running real Joe timing on his iPhone because that's what I'm getting out of that, but not sure. He then goes on to say that he runs for real Joe. Yeah, he does iPhone for real Joe. So somewhere he's got his iPhone running it, so that's pretty cool. I actually don't recall that you could do that with that program. Anyways, he says that he has a Sim5 chassis and Seat 5 transducers, iFlag shifter light, which he got from shiftlight.com.au, which I believe I've heard of before, but it's like a software program, if I'm not mistaken, that shows when you need to shift, or, well, not so much when you need to shift, but at least shows your shift lights. Let's see. He then says, secondly, you guys do a great show. That should be firstly. I'm just kidding.
He's kidding, Marco. He's kidding. We love you.
I know, I'm only kidding. And he says, thanks and keep them coming. He says, I joined iRacing after watching Empty Box, who's a very popular YouTuber. He watched those videos on YouTube. He says, for years, I played F1 games on the PS2 and PS3 with a Logitech Driving Force DF. He then says, then I asked the wife, got the okay, and the rest is history, and I joined iRacing. His talks a little bit, let's see here. Let's see. He built his own cockpit, as I mentioned, and then he says, finally, I recently added iFlag as well, if I didn't say that already. And he says, I think that is it. Here are the pictures. And then he says, I'm also including, as I believe Trevor's been flipping through, some pictures of the, quote, game room.
Yeah, I've kind of skipped through a lot of those. Like I've just been focusing on the sim rig ones as you've been talking because I figure these deserve talking to. But yeah, I've got up the fourth picture now, which kind of gives a good overview. Like it's not quite in a cupboard, but it is definitely in a closet. So you know, out of the way. You know, deep freeze there, so you can grab a popsicle mid race if you need to. But that's what I mean by building is, you know, like that's a piece of MDF with some plywood or some 2x4s underneath it with the seat attached into it by the looks of it. And then the 3 monitor, of course, a big F1 fan is, you know, has the big Pirelli tires on all the monitors there. Let's see. I'm going to go back to the very beginning here. Picture number 1. This is what he looks at when he's racing. He's got his, you know, a lot of his memorabilia in the back, a bunch of F1 cars, you know, die-cast type thing. I don't know if he has Jurassic World back there. Chad will have to check that because he's the key person who looks for that sort of thing.
I don't see it, so I think that's a negative.
But yeah, then the second picture, just kind of, you know, a different view. And then he's, although I love how from picture 1 to picture 2, how he's moved his gloves so that they can be prominently displayed in the, you know, it's like, okay, first picture, they're right in the middle. All right, second picture, okay, here they are off to the side. This is gloves casual. But then he kind of goes a tour around the room. We were joking about it earlier when it came to rooms. We said there was one that was going to come up, and this is it's Marco's. As far as really getting into the gaming room bit of it here. So, you know, he's got obviously a Senna picture on the wall there. You know, and it's weird because it's his room, but it's, you know, also obviously it's got the deep freeze in it. So he doesn't even get the whole room, but he's got all this stuff.
And then he's got his Thrustmaster steering wheel box below it.
Right, and then actually,
picture.
Yeah, then he actually, I think, puts the wheel in front of it later on to show. But then, picture 5 there, he's got what appears to be all the signatures in the world from the U.S. Grand Prix in 2006, which, was that the year that everything went horribly, horribly wrong? You wouldn't know that. I can't remember what year it was where they had the big tire fiasco. Where only like half the cars started because there was a big tire problem there. Because I don't remember if they went back to Indianapolis for the U.S. Grand Prix after that. But if it was, then you'd have lots of time to get signatures on the people because they weren't driving their cars. But I don't remember if that was 2006 or not. But that's pretty cool. Then he's got, let's see, he's got a shirt here. And let's see, it's got the Budweiser and Dale Jr. in the middle there.
Now, hold on. The last picture, is that his college degree in the bottom left-hand corner?
It might be.
It just says college.
What? It says college. I mean, you know, as all college degrees do. Where'd you go? I went to college.
I went to college.
Which one? You know.
Smart guy here.
The college.
We're dealing with a smart person here. He graduated.
So, 6 there. Obviously, what appears to be a Dale Jr. shirt. Of course, can't read any of the signatures because they're signatures of race drivers, which are almost as bad as doctors. Although it's definitely Dale Jr.'s signature in the middle, but I can't tell if that's just part of the printing or he actually signed that there. Next we have another shirt with some signature. Let's see again. He should have actually spoke more about his stuff and all of his memorabilia that we could speak to it.
I can't wait till you get to picture 9. There's something really funny I want to point out.
All right, so picture 8. We have what appears to be a replica Senna helmet.
Yeah.
What if he wears that when he races? Marco, he probably doesn't wear it at all because it's
I doubt it.
Display purposes only. It's right on top of the Ayrton Senna book, so yeah.
Okay, so picture 9.
Picture 9.
He's obviously a Senna and Dale Jr. fan, but then in the middle of all of this, I just found it funny that there's a Danica Patrick postcard.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, right there in the back end.
Right there. Right next to the college.
College degree.
You must have studied Danica Patrick.
Is that a degree program?
I don't know.
And a dartboard.
And a dartboard. So if he gets frustrated, like when Trevor wrecks him and he's mad, he can just pick up a dart and launch it across the room.
It's like, why do I listen to that guy? Oh, he's such a bad road racer.
Yeah, terrible. Ugh.
Then on to picture 10, we have his NASCAR die casts with the Big Dale Jr. 8 at the top, and then, you know, the F1 car that Jr. drove for. Oh wait, no.
Yeah.
Kidding. Although I did look through all these. It's a very wide collection throughout the years of NASCAR diecasts, and there's more on the next page. But I will have to take points away and disqualify you again. There are no 16s in there. No Greg Biffle cars, so you are disqualified, sir.
From what we don't know, but
no, we're not sure. But and then there's some more on the next one. And like again. This is the room of a motorsports fan. Like I said, this is the one where you walk in and, you know, as you are beginning to date. I don't know if Mark was married or not, but you know that you walk in the room, you know what you're getting into, so you cannot complain when Sunday rolls around and for a good 5-6 hours of that day, Marco is sitting down in front of the television. You knew what you were getting into. There is no hiding that here. And then, then the comfy couch off to the side with the junior cars for throwing. He must be one of those people. I remember when Junior changed from the 8 to the 88. They did a bunch of commercials and people getting up, like, what am I going to do now? They're destroying all their 8 merchandise. He must be one of those guys because he's got all of this 8 merchandise. I wonder if he's got a 8 tattoo that he had to like add an extra 8 on to it when he changed numbers. I remember those commercials. But anyway.
I do too.
And then again above the actual rig itself, and a bunch of pictures and what appears to be games and movies, and no Jurassic World. Again, points removed for that.
No Jurassic World. You failed.
And then we have his wheel. Well, it's not even the wheel that the box is for. It's a different, cooler wheel than the box is showing. Man, that is is that the wheel that he actually has attached to his rig? I forgot to, I don't think it is it?
I don't know. Nah, I think it's different. Yeah, it's different.
Interchangeable, man, that's a cool looking wheel.
It is.
And then back to the rig. Kind of a couple more overview pictures, but when we said send some pictures in, Marco took that assignment seriously and sent some pictures in.
Yes. That is cool.
But anyway, so enough about Marco and his embarrassingly awesome man cave, which makes us all feel inadequate for our own man caves now. But we will move on to Mike Bartsch, and once I get over here to actually flip the picture, there we go. We've got Mike's rig up there, which again looks pretty dang custom. So let's read a little bit about that one. Mike, not Mark. We've run out of Bort license plates. He says, Happy New Year. Apparently he sent this in early, as opposed to a lot of you who said, hey, am I too late? Can I send it in now?
He was like, I'm coming in January 1.
Well, okay, hold on. Never mind. I should have read the next sentence before I went on my tirade. He says, I can't believe it's February already. And I have now been an iRacing member for a year now. The past year of iRacing has been a blast, and together with the great content you guys provide in your show, thanks, Mike, has really made for has really made for more than just another game experience. Well, that's what we're kind of hoping to do. At least add that little extra bit in there. He says, I enjoy interacting with you guys and other members on Twitter and Twitch, and have found the app.ini file segment very informative and begun fiddling with things myself. Great.
That's my people right there.
Attached is the photo of my M. Bartow sim rig, which I built over the summer and has provided a far better racing experience for me than the family desk. Yeah, I know that feeling.
Yeah.
I like the carpet underneath. It's got a nice design to it.
I love the seat too. All these people, like, they're taking out seats from, real cars, and those have got to be comfortable for
I
these
know.
long races.
I know. Like I just picture like people going to the junkyard and just finding,
Yeah.
it's finding pieces of cars and making them into their sim rigs.
Yeah. I mean, why not?
He says, I have scoured through photos of other do-it-yourself rigs online and then found the plans by Simulator with an 8 in there for the design most common on the Inside Sim Racing site. I figured I could build an 80-20 PVC rig like his without screwing things up too badly and set off to the hardware store. I tweaked things a bit to my own liking during the build and raised it up off the floor, raised the roof, or the rig, which is probably the best change I could have made. I made my monitor stand from 3/4-inch gas pipe and light switch covers, which again, the idea came from some smart guy gal on the interwebs. And I found a great leather seat from a smashed 2007 Honda Accord at a U-Picket junkyard. There you go, for $15.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know what? You go there, you drive, you smash up your car. Seat's good.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the rig actually. For $15. Overall, it was a fun and rewarding project and has freed up the family desk to once again be used by the family. I'm currently running the G27 wheel and pedal set with the Leo Bodnar cable plugged into the pedals and a store-bought Asus desktop computer with an upgraded GTX 970. My people, graphics card. My most recent addition is the Derek Spear Designs P1 button box, which my lovely wife gave for me for Christmas. Aw. And my next wanted edition is the Z1 dashboard sometime in the distant future. Also, in case you need more to read, I enjoyed watching you guys and the other IRTM team members run the 24 Hours of Daytona, and all three streams running on the homepage was brilliant. Thanks, Chad. I just added the thanks, Chad part in.
You're welcome.
I hope to participate in it 1 year and have really begun to enjoy road sports car racing since joining iRacing. The actual Rolex 24 was awesome to watch, and thanks to IMSA TV, I was able to watch it live. I am toying with the idea of joining Scott's IRTS League. I'm probably gone way too far into this, but I'm going to keep going because I'm almost at the end. But I'm unsure if my work schedule will allow it, or if I should with my skill, with my still kind of Xbox noob skill level. Inside show jokes. I'll keep an eye on the league page and watch for further info. Thanks, guys, for the show, and keep up the good work. Have a great day. I am having a great day. However, it's turning into a great night. It has turned dark. I said to my wife, I'm going to be downstairs for about an hour and a half. I'll be back up to help you with the kids. I'm probably already divorced. She's probably already filed the paperwork because we're still going on this thing. So it's probably not a great day anymore. But anyway, yeah. No, Mike's setup is... I like the look of the PVC piping and stuff as well on that thing. And
Yeah, it's very
getting
cool.
everything fit together. I mean, that's the cool thing. Like he says, it's one of those things where, you put that much effort into it, it becomes the sim racing around, like the project around the sim racing becomes part of the hobby itself,
Mm-hmm.
And that's what a lot of people seem to have done, which is really cool to see.
Yeah, I like the way he's got his pedals kind of perched up right there. I mean, that looks like it would be in a good comfy position for
Most definitely.
the way he's got that setting up like that.
Yeah, and the way the button box off to the right there, which looks like it'd be easily within reach, and the keyboard on that kind of angled tray off there. That'd be that's probably about the best place you could probably have it while you're actually racing. Come to think of it, to just kind of hit a couple buttons and hit a couple chat messages or whatever. So pretty cool.
Yeah.
So thanks, Mike.
Yep.
Next, we shall move on to our most unique entry, perhaps.
Yeah. Definitely scoring a lot of points with this one.
So why don't you handle Ricky Thompson's setup here?
So Ricky Thompson was recently on the road and did a little improvising. So he took a steering wheel, and we don't know the exact specs of this because he didn't technically send this in, but he did send it on Twitter, and we got the biggest kick out of it, so we had to include it. But that looks like a Logitech Momo wheel with the pedals down in there in the floor, and his laptop running iRacing, which he's in the IndyCar apparently. And oh, by the way, that's an ironing board.
In case you missed that.
What a smart thinking cap that he had on that day. Because if you think about it, I don't know what your ironing board is like, but the ironing boards that I've seen, you could clamp a steering wheel on it pretty darn good. So,
And it's
like,
height
that has to
adjustable.
be, yeah, I know, and like that is seriously way, way, way cool, Ricky.
Yeah, he never actually sent us what his home setup is like,
But who cares? Look at this.
but this is, hey, I'm on the road. That's not going to stop me from racing.
Yeah, exactly.
See, I couldn't do that because my work laptop won't run iRacing, so I couldn't actually do it.
Look
So,
look at the last chat message in there in the chat. That's pretty good.
it says lol. That's great.
No, the one above it.
I running board.
Yep, running board. I think that's awesome. Very, very, very cool setup.
All right, so on to Rob. Let's see, where we go. There we go.
Mangold.
Rob Mangold. And he says, unless you want to handle this because you didn't get to speak a lot with Ricky.
Well, I can do it. He says, "Hi guys, thanks for all you do, and know this: what you're about to read is mostly your fault."
Awesome.
Thanks, I guess. He says, "I found your podcast about a year ago, saw an article on motorsports.com about the iRacing 24 Hours of Daytona. There for a minute I was going to get really excited and thought that we were on motorsport.com, but unfortunately we're not." He says, "I got interested and you guys set the hook. Yay. I'm not that good at fishing, so that's really good. I signed up for iRacing in March, and here I am, almost a year later. Here's my current setup. It's been under a massive upgrade over the last several months as I've gone from a single monitor sitting on a card table, so I guess it doubled as, his poker night table, to the 80/20 mount with triple 27-inch monitors. He has a Fanatec CSRE wheel, including the stock CSRE rim, as well as the Formula rim, another person with multiple rims. Installed the new force feedback motors a couple of months ago, as the wheel is about 4 years old. The CSRE pedals, CSR shifters, H pattern currently installed. All that mounted to a do-it-yourself wood rig, soon to be replaced by 80/20. This setup used to be my Xbox 360/PS3 wheel until I got into iRacing. I sold the PS3 and won't ever play a console racing game again. That a boy. I fully support this statement. 80/20 triple monitor and hardware stand that I designed in OnShape. Then he puts in parentheses, free internet-based CAD software. Mounts for keyboard, button box, speakers, mouse pad, way to use the commas by the way, Sim Vive switch, and etc. Integrated shelf for the PC case, Sim Vive case, and UPS. So he's supporting UPS. I know it's not the same thing. But the DSD button box with USB LED light, which is really cool because when I used to run in the total darkness, and I take that back, I still do, but I could not see my button box very well because it's not lit up. So I actually had a little light that I would shine on it, but now I see it much better because my Z1 Sim Wheelbox LCD screen sits on top of that, so that helps. Anyways, moving back to the list of stuff he has. He has the Asus 7-inch tablet running Dash Meter Pro attached with a RAM ball mount. What exactly is a RAM ball mount?
I mean, it's a ball mount. I don't know what you're ramming into it.
So I guess it's just easy to rotate around because it's on a ball?
Perhaps.
Okay. So SimVive software with 4 Aruka, or Aruk, I don't know how you say that. Base shakers, 24-volt power supply, and 4 times 50-watt amp for shakers installed in a Thermaltake computer case. remote SimVive hardware, on-off red cover safety switch, and LED mounted on the rig. iFlag was soon to be designed 3D printed case, another one of those, to be hard mounted to the rig instead of taped to my monitor, as it apparently currently is. What's up with all these 3D cases?
Man, and the remote, he says the remote SimVibe hardware on-off red cover safety switch. Like that's, I'm looking at the picture. That's got to be the thing up above the monitor
the top right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. And of course he's got the speakers, up there as well. Sweet. Anyways, he then goes on to say, the Mobo fiberglass race seat with a slide adjuster I designed and built as my mechanical engineering senior design project back in college. Guess he's got a college degree because he went to college.
I don't see it in the pictures, so I don't see it in the pictures. It didn't happen.
It didn't happen. USB fan plugged into a 4-port USB switch so I can turn it on and off from my seat during a race. Very cool. PC hardware, home-built PC with overclocked AMD FX 8320 8-core CPU, an Asus Mambo, running Windows 7, and an NTIC 900 gaming case, 16 gig G-Skill Ripjaws RAM. That's a cool name.
I don't know if it's any good, but I like the name.
I love the name, G-Skill Ripjaws. That's awesome. Samsung 850 EVO 250 gigabyte SSD, EVGA 980 Ti 6 gig SC Plus. Pause. EVGA 1000 watt power supply. Wow, 1000 watt.
All the watts.
2 sound cards. 2 sound cards. Most people don't even have one. The motherboard internal and Asus external for SimVive and 5.1 audio respectively. 3 27-inch Acer 144 MHZ monitors with G-Sync. Logitech G35 headphones. Ooh, let me know how you like those. Not that I'm like in the market for them, but just kind of curious.
Yeah, they're also were on my short list of when I was getting headphones as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. AZIO, not sure how you pronounce that. LED keyboard. Logitech 5.1 speakers, as we mentioned a minute ago in the picture there. Uninterruptible power supply, only racing with iRacing at the moment. Up next, future plans. 80/20 frame for seat, wheel, and pedals. Clean up wiring. And paint shelf black. Cup holder install. Smiley face after that. I'm starting to think about a wheel and pedal upgrades as well. I'll probably get Dirt Rally soon. I've heard a lot of good things about that.
I haven't. Actually. I've played around with it a little bit, but from what I've seen, it is pretty cool.
Send it to me. I want to use it. Most of this was purchased, excuse me, with an agreed upon deal with my wife. Here's a key thing for all of you listening or watching. That I'd sell my 2003 CBR 600RR this spring. And then he says, does anyone want a sport bike? Thanks again, guys.
So the picture that kind of, well, gives a good overview of the thing is the second picture here, which I have up on the screen, which kind of shows the, I assume those two things behind the seat are part of the, the base shakers?
The SimVive.
Yeah, the SimVive?
The SimVive thing, yeah. Yeah, that's what those are.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I like how you can see it really well on the second picture here, he has a cell phone case holder next to his mouse.
Yeah.
The third picture I like too. It shows a good he's even got a little hanger there for his headset off to the left,
which is smart.
Yes. And yeah, I like this setup. It's very nice. I like that F1 wheel. Very nice.
Yeah, that is a really cool wheel. All right. Nope, sorry, yeah. Carry on.
No, I was trying to see what this white box was. I think I read about that, but
although
I was looking at pictures.
Although it moved actually, because it was above his on-off switch at the top there. Now it's down. It moves. Oh no, it's like the gloves. Oh, the thing I found in looking at that, like he's got the monitors and everything mounted and this whole thing, and then he's got this crappy old Microsoft mouse that just stands out like
Yeah.
a sore thumb off to the side. This old white, probably just had from somebody's old computer. There, it's like, you know what? I don't use the mouse while racing. I don't need it. It can be whatever it wants to be. I don't care.
Yeah, but hey, whatever works.
But
And the next one is really cool too.
yes, actually, I'm going to read it before I show the picture. So please enjoy Rob Mangold's picture for another second while I quickly read Stacy Bertrand's entry. She says, "Okay, I might be late, but I thought I would send something out. This is my racing rig. Odometer gauges, Momo racing wheel, sailing pedals, Momo racing seat, Momo shifter, auto power, 6-point roll cage, Sparco racing harness, Momo shift boot." And the picture, there you go. She says, "Oh, wait, you wanted iRacing rig." Well, that's not nearly as nice. And actually did not send a picture of her racing rig. She just, Stacy's, someone we mentioned on the show before, and she's a honest to goodness, out on the track real racer that also does some sim racing. So,
and she's also had a little bit of issues with iRacing recently, so is not currently sim racing. So that's
right.
That's what makes the joke a little bit better. Because it's like, hey, I don't do that anymore. Look, real car.
yeah. So for realism, she beats us out.
A+.
Although some of the seats that we've seen look more comfortable than what she's racing in there.
Yes.
I like the gauge display kind of up and with the clear plexiglass was you can still see through it, and the big shift light indicator there as well, and so it's some good ease of use features here, but looking a little rough. Might want to paint it up a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was.
And we need an IRTRS logo in there somewhere.
Oh yeah, I don't have that in there. Although I think on a real
Don't see
race
it in
car, people expect money for that. So
Yeah. Yeah. We can't offer much of that. Maybe a dime.
No, not even that. I really can't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not even that.
Okay. Moving forward, we have.
You got the next one.
I do, and I know why you want me to have the next one. So I am going to apologize before I even start, because I am going to mangle your name, and I apologize for that. It is Tharanga Basnayaki. He puts TB in brackets, so I'm guessing that he just goes by TB, his initials, or her initials. I don't even know, actually, with the name. But this is TB's rig. He says, "Hi, guys. Very part-time driver here with a part-time rig. As you can tell, it's a desk with a chair, which is how a lot of us start it. Acer Aspire 15-inch laptop running Windows 7 hooked to a G27 set. Not the best setup, but my other hobby is riding motorbikes on racetracks, and that can get expensive." Yeah, well,
Yes, it can.
if you're going to put your money into something, hey, put it on the thing that you actually put your butt onto.
Yes. The real life stuff.
It says, "Love the show, TB." Yeah, so he signs TB. P.S. My sim rig 3.1, as I decided to move the screen from the garage to, I don't even know what I'm reading here anymore.
My rig 3.0. Making it my rig 3.1.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
So he moved the screen. We do not have a prior picture, so we don't know what the screen was.
Yeah, and we cannot account for. Oh wait, hold on. See, we have two pictures here. So we have, I guess, first picture is with the laptop 3.0, and
Second
then
picture is with screen.
3.1 with an actual
Gotcha.
screen, which looks
There
like a
you go.
TV.
Yeah, it is much nicer looking than the little tiny laptop.
That dominates the entire desk at that point in time.
And I love, we don't really get to see it in the first picture, but in the second picture, the hat comes into play over there on the left.
yeah. The hat becomes a buffering between the wall and the giant monitor.
Is that a bed over there on the left too?
I believe it is. Yes, that's
I
another
believe.
common
So,
thread.
Yeah, another thing, where you can just jump right into bed during the 24 hours.
People race where they sleep, apparently.
Apparently.
So thanks, TB. I'm not going to embarrass you or I by attempting to say your name again. You can at least let me know if I came even close. My
Hopefully
attempt.
you
Moving forward.
Next up.
And no windows. I did not double click that, so stop trying to minimize my photo viewer. Next up, we have Tim Roberts.
Tim Roberts says that he has the Fanatec/Fanatic Club Sport pedals. I believe that is version 2, from what I can see. He has G27 Logitech wheel, Logitech headphones, and a custom PC. He also has Aris modem, apparently, and a Netgear router. Just looking at what I'm seeing in the picture. Now, what I love here about this, I like to point out, like to look at things. This is a very nice looking desk, and you look at the walls around it. This almost reminds me of like, I can picture, and I'm not saying that this is true, but I just can picture Tim being a lawyer, and this is his lawyer's office, and this is what he does.
It does sort of look like that, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's just what came to my mind. I don't know if Tim is a lawyer. I don't think that he is. Just I've talked to him before, but who knows? But yeah, pretty kind of your basic setup there, but it works. G27, shifter clamped over there. Looks pretty nice.
Yeah, and again, falls in the thread of, you can have your whole everything set up for your racing, experience, or, hey, it fits here, so let's do it kind of thing,
Now, the interesting thing about his pedals is he doesn't have them bolted down to anything. It looks like they're just sitting on the floor.
On the carpet. Yep.
Yep.
With that, I don't know if those pedals have the little carpet catcher that the G27
They kind of do.
have underneath them to stop it from moving, but I know that it never works. So,
Yeah. So, thanks, Tim, for sending that in.
All right. We are almost at the end of this, ladies and gentlemen. This marathon of a show. We've now used all of Chad's data to just record this show. And now we have mystery guest.
Yes. Would you like for me to read this?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, so we unfortunately do not know the name of this driver, but hopefully once they watch this video, maybe they can tell us their name, and then we can mention it on our regular show to give them proper credit. So unknown driver name. Has a really cool setup, though. And they have a modified Sim Experience Stage 3, which is basically like a motion cockpit. They have 3 24-inch screens, plus a fourth 22-inch for Z1 dashboard, iSpeed, and etc., which of course you can see dangling from the sky.
Dangling from the sky?
I don't know. I just wanted to say that. And then he had David Ankeny. He's got the gauge or the tacks and the gauges going on up here, as you can see behind the steering wheel there. It's a pretty sweet setup and kind of a bulky shifter. Actually, that looks like the same one that Jason had.
Oh yeah, it is. It does look like
Very
that,
similar.
doesn't it?
So yeah, he's got some of the things we've seen before, and then he says he has a full working tach, as I mentioned, and a set of gauges, digital gear indicator, and speedometer. He as well as a traffic light for cautions and green flags, which is the ginormous traffic light.
Like, is that
top left?
like seriously hooked up?
Apparently, yes, and it blinks yellow and green.
Wow, I mean, we thought the iFlag would be one of those things that would jump in and go, it's like, hey, you know what? Maybe that might be blinding, but I mean, you're not going to miss that. Like, that is just, blam.
Yellow flag.
The yellow comes out, and then you just crash.
Yep.
It's because you're blinded now.
He then goes on to say that it is controlled by Sim Project boards. So then he says Fanatec all around, Dell motherboard, i7 processor, EVGA 4 gig, another GTX 970, and 16 gig or MB. He says RAM, but I wonder if he meant GB.
But that is a really super cool rig, and I wish we could accredit it to whoever whoever it actually is. So whoever you are, let us know, and we'll let everybody know who had the. I mean, it'll be easy to remember. It's the traffic light one.
Yeah. Now what we're gonna call him Live to Race because of that license plate on the left. But I like the fact that he has a treadmill there, so that during this is better than the bed for the 24-hour races. He can just be like, oh man, I gotta stay in shape. Jump right on the treadmill. Bang.
There you go. It's like gotta keep on game, man. You gotta be on point and ready to go. So.
Yep. But he clearly has some gloves, some shoes down there. I see in the bottom underneath the steering wheel. If you look, and he's got a clock up next to the steering wheel as well. Looks like he's got 2 button boxes, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, looks like it.
Yeah, and pretty nice setup there. And he apparently likes Ford racing, so that makes Trevor like him.
There you go. See? So, Mr. Live to Race, let us know who the heck you are, man, because that's a cool rig.
It is. Very cool.
Especially like the traffic light.
Yeah, I love the traffic light. That's really cool.
All right.
I think he might have sent us a video of that, which we can't play on this, but he sent us some video. So I'm wondering if it's of the traffic light. I have not yet watched the video, because I was going to say I'd like to see that in motion, but I remember now he did send a video, so I wonder if that's what that was.
Okay, well we will check that out, and then let you guys know maybe in the next show, or put a link to something on there and let you guys know whose that is. But anyway, moving along to almost the end, ladies and gentlemen, we have Wendy Sarrett. Sarrett? I'm going to go Sarrett.
Yeah.
And she says, here is my setup. My next upgrade is getting the seat that goes with the wheel stand to make a proper rig, as opposed to that very uncomfortable looking chair. I'd also like to have...
It's not going to move.
No, it's not on wheels, so you're a step ahead of the game there. But that looks like an uncomfortable place to be racing from, so a seat would definitely be a good upgrade on that for sure. She said, I'd also like to have triples, but that's a ways away. I know that's, trust me, I know that feeling. By the way, I remember when Trevor was doing the show on his own about 5 or 6 years back. So Winnie's been around for a long time. Aw, that's awesome. The pair of you, though, definitely works. So, Trevor, never do it on your own again, is what she's saying. She's saying, you found Chad, thank goodness, you've saved everything. Thanks for...
That's what I got out of it.
Thanks for your hard work on the show. Take care. That was Wendy. Now, we have a couple of other extra little things in here. We have... Roby has actually reminded me that he sent me a picture of his rig in through a Twitter DM, which I believe is not how he said to send them in. But I think I've brought it into the page where I can bring it up here. Let me see if that works. If this will do any... all right, it's not working yet. All right, hold on. I can do this. I have the technology.
Please stand by. Technical difficulties.
Please stand by. Okay, now that might... There we go. Got it. So, it takes time, man. I'm doing this on the fly.
I know.
But anyway... Roby has another triple monitor thing. He says Desk 2.0. I built the Ricmotech. Is that how we decided to say that? Ricmotech RS1 do-it-yourself desk first. I've got to check those guys out because apparently everybody uses them. And then modified it to suit my needs, painted it black. Now, this is going to seem really silly because this, of course, shows up in the actual chat, so you know that I'm just reading what he wrote in the chat. Modified it to suit my needs, painted it black and clear-coated it, and put some white T modeling around it. Then, let's see. Excuse me, 3 24-inch monitors, junkyard van seat, which you can kind of sort of see there. Looks like a nice leather or fake leather.
I think he says his was $50.
G27 pedals and shifter, Gen 1 i7-930, NVIDIA GTX 970, again, a popular choice. 12 gigabytes of RAM. And he has the Logitech G930 wireless headphones in there, and he's ashamed that he did not follow instructions.
As you should be.
Oh, Roby. You're lucky. See, Roby gets a pass because he's like my people, because he has the same Steam sickness as I do, where he just buys all the games on Steam. So we have this camaraderie. So so it's okay. I forgive him.
I like the wallpaper he's got going on, 3 different cars there.
And I can't tell if any of them have the iRacing Today radio show logo on them.
I don't think they do.
And Roby's now filling the chat in with his shame.
It's a shame. Yeah.
I don't know if he's ashamed now because because of his Steam sickness. Because like I said, I feel his pain. I can't pass up a sale. I think his library rivals my own, and that takes some work and some money. Let me tell you. And then Chad sent me in one, and I don't know where that even came from.
It came from our chat.
Okay.
And it came from bad_badger. I don't know that we have an actual name from this person.
And
but they sent it on. They literally just discovered our show.
And I'm going to try to bring it up, but this could fail miserably. Let's see. All right. I think maybe... There we go. Got it.
Got it. Good. Okay. So, as you can see, he mentions that just built it up Sunday, so no computer is yet connected. As you can kind of see, it looks a little empty there without the computer. But of course, he has 3 screens, G27 wheel with the shifter as well. And then he goes on to say that he built it for my 7-year-old son too, so it is fully adjustable. He's also Canadian, so I figured you'd get a kick out of that. And then let's see, I saw something else where he said something about it. Let me find it. Hang on. Please stand by. I thought I saw something else where he had put some specs, but I can't find it. Maybe he did not. Oh, he does say he just finished his own homemade rig over the weekend, which I kind of mentioned. And I don't see any other specs. So, anyways, but that's his rig.
And it's also the fact that you can tell that he is Canadian because it looks like if you took the monitors off, it would actually double as a sled that you could go down a hill as well. Because it kind of has that. If you put a couple of horses in front of it, you could be racing while driving down the lane, kind of thing as well.
That's true. So that was and by the way, again, don't know the name, but Bad Badger. Thank you for finding our show. See, this sim rig did something. The edition did something productive. It gained us a new listener.
Yeah, and lost me my marriage because we've been now recording for what
3 hours and 18 minutes.
Oh dear. Oh.
Well, we got through them all, man. We're done.
We did. You guys, like I said, you guys. We put out homework assignments on occasion, throughout the year with different things to do. But you guys took this one to heart, let me tell you. Holy crap. So, you guys definitely brought that up and did all there was to it. Let's see, we'll go back to the splash screen. Anyway, with all of that being said, in this marathon of a show, I don't think we've had an actual show that has lasted this long.
Yeah, I think we have.
Yeah, we probably have. Probably after some big race sometime.
Probably.
But anyway, so this was your special edition show with the sim rigs. Like I said, we wanted to. We didn't want to dare try to fold this into a regular show. This is not. There's not going to be an audio format of this because, well, that would be dumb. So this will be archived on YouTube for you guys to go back through. But we wanted to give a special edition of the show to kind of just put the spotlight on you guys and all of the ways that you guys sim race, and we definitely appreciate you guys sending in all those pictures and specs. And we're gonna, we have a bag of commas that you can grab on your way out, so you can help us reading.
Use them wisely,
because apparently we don't know how to read if they're not there. But hopefully you guys found that informative and get some. If you're building up your sim rig, maybe get some ideas and just some different takes on how people different people approach this hobby in different ways. And I myself, if you guys didn't get anything out of it, I found it fascinating.
Oh, me too.
So, I'm satisfied. I'm good. But Like I said, I'm actually in the middle of going to be moving my my rig around and adding some, a couple little things to it here in the next week or so. Once my don't lift anything surgery restriction is up, so I will give you a couple pictures of that on when I get it all set up. I just didn't want to put a picture of what it was like, and it's a mess too because everything's kind of half. Anyway, never mind. It's a disaster. I sit in a disaster. But it will be much better because I won't have a chance to disaster it up before I get a chance to take a picture next time. So anyway, thank you very much for sending everything in. We really, really, really appreciate it. Hopefully you guys found this entertaining. We'll be back on Thursday night with our regular actual show. And hopefully my bruising goes down a fair bit by then, because if you watched my race at excuse me, at Twin Ring Motegi there, where I actually had my webcam up, I'm pretty bruised up. It's starting to get better, but hopefully it won't be nearly as ugly by the time we roll around to Thursday night. So we'll be back for our regular show Thursday night. So make sure to stay tuned for that. Watch Twitter for when we're actually going to be recording that, because we'll be doing a little bit different timing because, well, hey, I'm off work because I'm all mangled from my surgery, so we might record a little bit early to get Chad to bed at a reasonable hour that night. Since we haven't done a show for a couple weeks, I don't know how long it's going to be. We know how that goes. But anyway, thank you very much. We appreciate everything you guys do to interact with us and helping us out. And this special edition would have been nothing and boring if you guys did not take the effort to send in your pictures. So thank you very much. We'll see you on Thursday. We'll see you on the track. And any closing words there, Chad?
Thanks. Bye.
Excellent. All right. Take care, guys, and we will see you on Thursday night.